Hey everyone, this is Rob,
And Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school or RuneScape.
Meet Mer.
Me, Mer. So as you can see, of course, we are side by side, still working on stuff, but we'll update you as we go.
Seems like nothing else is gonna work at this point.
We'll figure it out. Either way, up on the docket, we have some stuff to talk about, including our updates from this week, what we've been up to, if anything, as well as some video stuff potentially. And then we have the update for this week, which is actually not really an update, but still kind of interesting in that it's going to be part 2 of Forestry.
Yeah, the community consultation for that.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that, everything that is going to join it in its introduction, as well as the controversy that's joining it. So whatever controversy
Yeah.
may or may not be happening.
So we're recording this on Wednesday, but supposedly tomorrow there will be an update out that we'll go over. And I'm assuming tomorrow we will also be able to discuss the feedback that they have to our feedback.
Yes.
Hopefully.
So there's a lot of feedback going into this. So we'll get into that. And then, of course, luckily for you, we do record this over 2 days. So hopefully you'll be able to hear the immediate response tomorrow.
Next week, we'll be like, okay, guys, we're finally ready to talk about it.
Yeah, probably. But either way, if you are only interested in the feedback of the feedback, then feel free to skip ahead as usual. There are going to be timestamps down below if you are interested.
And then we'll end off
with our Q&A as per usual. So if you do have any questions for us, RuneScape related or otherwise, feel free to ask us on any of our socials that are down below or at the end of the episode. Feel free to join anywhere you can find us, ask us questions there, or specifically on our Discord, discord.gg/Bunebape. We do have a questions channel there, or just feel free to ask in general and let us know that it's for the podcast and we'll try to include it.
For sure.
Yep. So before we get into all that though, as interesting as it is, Michelle, how's it going?
Going good. I did want to say at the beginning, because we're still doing the little meat merc thing. I don't know when to put that in the videos.
Nowhere. You just leave it. It's meat merp.
But then it sounds bad in the Spotify. People know that if you guys didn't know, because at the end of every episode, after the outro thing, it's Robert and I saying meat merp. And I did that last night, but last night. But it was like after a 30 or 20-second pause of the outro screen. So I was like, oh, this feels weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I could just do the audio. I kept the video in. Maybe I'll just do the audio only, so it's right after, because it was like weirdly late.
It would just be easier for you to leave it completely uncut as it is.
I guess so.
I don't think people, let me know if I'm wrong, audio only listeners, but I don't think they really rely on the meat merp for their day to go well.
For the meat merp. I didn't consider the fact that I put it after the outro, and just the fact that there's the outro screen at all means that every podcast episode I've put out has been 20 seconds of silence at the end.
Yep, pretty weird.
Huh.
Yeah, you're not really an audio person.
I don't know what to do about that.
It's not really a conundrum, brother.
Anyway, I'll worry about that later.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not really a big deal.
You wouldn't get it. You don't understand my
More importantly,
process.
what have you been up to?
I have been up to a couple things. I've gotten some levels this week. I actually didn't get any purples or anything. So just levels, but I went from 90 to 92 fire making. I went to Wintertot. I was feeling inspired. And then because of DT2, I was able to get 93 prayer. And I also got my mining up a level to 93. So
nice.
4 levels this week. Not too bad.
Exciting.
Very exciting. Other than that, I was doing the DT2 bosses. I was trying to get the tablet for every single boss.
1,000 kills?
No, thank God. People think it's 1 out of 10 for every tablet.
It's the only drop on the community supplied drop rate of any of their items that is considered common.
Oh, okay.
All of the other items have
all the new items.
Yeah, all of the items
ever, and I was like, that feels wrong.
No. Like if you look through, you know how you look through some of the, it'll just say green common because it drops often. That's
so I don't need to still be wearing these. What am I doing?
Yeah, no headphones needed.
Yeah. But yeah, so we think it's 1 out of 10 tentatively, but like I got it at Duke last week, I think at like 3 KC. I said it last week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The Vardorvis one I got at 6 KC. Whisper I got at 7. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so spooned all of these. Like Leviathan's my least favorite. I'm probably gonna go dry. I'm something of a mind freak. It took me 35 KC to get it at Leviathan.
Well, yeah, because it's the most painful of all the bosses.
Yeah, it's the most painful. So naturally they were like, you're gonna have to fight for this one a little bit. But the good thing is now I'm like fairly comfortable at Leviathan. kind of. No, that's why I
Yeah.
said
I was like,
fairly.
yeah,
I'm far
sure.
from comfortable, but like I'm way more comfortable than I was before. Before I dreaded it. Now I'm just like, oh, hopefully
Now
it's
you
fine.
get 5 KC every trip.
I got 3 KC in a single trip.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the most I've gone in a single trip at any of the bosses. I was very excited about that.
Well, okay, let's calm down. You could easily do that at Duke Suck if you wanted to.
I couldn't. The max I did was 2.
Well, I mean, if you did it for 30 kills, you probably.
Oh yeah,
I
but
think it's, yeah,
in my experience thus far,
definitely easier bosses.
yeah. But yeah, so I was feeling really happy about that. I also got 3 Awakeners orb in the meantime.
Nice. You
So that
sell them?
yeah, that was like 9 mil total selling all 3 of those.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. I really love the DTG bosses. They're actually so much fun. Even like Leviathan, it's still my least favorite for sure. It's not that bad once you get used to it.
Not that
Yeah,
bad.
the Awaken seems like it's gonna be a nightmare someday, but I don't even have Torva, so that's not really a concern of mine. I also started doing TOA again the other day, so it's been like 2 nights of raiding a lot, and we haven't gotten any purples. So hopefully tomorrow in the second half, I come back to you guys with an update on that because your girl would like a purple.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing that I'm gonna be doing tonight and for the rest of this week, I'm gonna be streaming a sponsored game.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I haven't had a sponsorship since April. So if you guys like mobile games and you want to help me out, I'd really appreciate it.
This stream is sponsored by Star Trek,
It's
correct?
Star Trek Fleet Command. I've actually been sponsored with them before. It's like a fun mobile game. It's all Star Trek themed, obviously, but you like have your own base, explore around, you go and like battle enemies. And I'll start a little group for Bunebape as well. I'm gonna play it tonight.
You said it's mobile only, or?
It is mobile only though.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to play it on BlueStacks on stream, which is unfortunate, and it doesn't even count towards my sponsorship, but whatever. I think it'll still be fun playing, but yeah, I'm doing that until next Tuesday. So if you want to check it out, I'll put the link in this description. Reminder, future me, do that. And I was gonna say one more thing on that, and I don't remember. Oh yeah, the goals are get to level 5 or get to level 10. Level 10, I get paid more, so
Nice.
would prefer if
Cool.
you do that
Yeah.
if you want.
If you want to support the stream, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
If not, no big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is about all I've been up to.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Looks like we just don't have a lot going on this week because
Yeah.
I have just I think I ran a couple laps. Honestly, wasn't playing a lot. I played a decent amount of Path of Exile
Mm-hmm.
because funny enough, I played Path of Exile a decent amount. I have a little over 800 hours.
A couple hours.
Yeah, which is honestly not a lot for Path of Exile.
Not for us.
Just in general. Honestly, like an experienced player in Path of Exile has a few thousand hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I play it regularly, but my friends don't. I've tried to convince them before, but they like were, just not into it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But luckily, the expansion reveal as well as Path of Exile 2 reveal during ExileCon over the weekend got them interested enough, in combination with Diablo 4 falling so flat on its face, that they're all like, all right, we'll try this game out.
We're not, just to be clear, we're not an OSRS podcast. We are a Diablo hater podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it takes for it to be a good game. Then yeah, because yeah, honestly, we had a good time. They had a good time. It was everything that they were looking for. It was funny. All their complaints really didn't exist in Path of Exile, so I was glad that
That's
they were
good.
able to switch over and had a good enough time. So they had a good time with Path of Exile. If you like ARPG style games, Torchlight, Diablo, stuff like that, then I would suggest trying out Path of Exile. It's free.
Should they hit you up?
No, don't hit me up.
Oh yeah, because you're not really playing during the week.
I don't really play in general, and I don't play with other people pretty much ever, even my friends. So I was just playing, and we were sharing experiences. That was about it. You can hit
I'm
me
like,
up
yeah,
on.
you guys can play with them. He's like, no, you
You can hit me up on Discord and be like, oh, I started this build. That's cool. Fine. I'm not gonna play with you though. There's no promises there. I don't play games with other people unless it's like.
He doesn't. It sucks. Even I try to get him to play games with me.
Yeah, if it's a game where you can hop in real quick, like if we had like an active Minecraft server,
Oh, like
or
Raft?
no, that's not it at all.
I was just thinking
If
of a
you
game
had
that
like
we played together.
like if you play BattleBit, I might jump in, play a couple
You haven't
games.
played with Ninja sometimes.
Yeah, like those games you could jump in.
Should we have a designated Minecraft server?
No, it costs money and people don't really play it.
never
No
mind.
one that we know play it.
And Holy
plays.
would play it.
Yeah, definitely a couple people would. Everyone plays it except for you for some reason.
I've
But,
never played Minecraft before. I
Yeah.
will someday. It's just like I have so many games to play.
Just like you'll play Skyrim someday, sure.
Ninja's been playing Skyrim again and keeps talking about it, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
intrigued.
it's a fun game. I
I
don't know
know
why you haven't played
because
it.
everyone says I like it too much. It's
Yeah, you're
scary.
all like, "Oh yeah, that sounds fun. Let me just not do it."
Literally me.
Wow, that's so fun. All right, cool. Either moving on. Yeah, so that's why I have not been playing too much RuneScape recently. Just getting a little distracted. I want to play more RuneScape, but honestly, if we're being honest, people, I got like 15 to 30 minutes of game time per day.
Yeah,
Like
he's been trying to study
this is
pretty hard.
yeah, this is just not, it's not feasible for me to play more than one game. So I usually just have one game that I'm playing at a time, and this week it was Path of Exile. So
Game of the week.
yeah. Anyways, moving
Oh,
on.
I did have one more thing. I am not giving up on my hardcore GIM. I just did want to say that
Sure.
DC2 just kind of distracted all of us, I think, have just been like kind of enjoying the new bosses. And also, I'm hesitant. I think I might have said this last week. I'm still working on a video. It's just like there's a crazy amount of footage, and I don't totally know like my vision for it, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have that much extra footage. But I did unlock fairy rings on it. I don't think I
Nice.
said that last week. I'm pretty sure that was this
Um,
weekend.
yeah, I think you might have done Lost Tribe. I'm not sure if
Lost
you did
City.
Lost City. I'm not sure if you did both of them.
Yeah, I don't think so. So maybe you guys have heard this, maybe not. But yeah, I did Lost City, Fairy Tale 1, and I unlocked Fairy Rings. So
Yeah.
that's huge. I am still making games on it. It's just I've been falling behind having shorts queued up and stuff because I've just been distracted by a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah.
So I stretched my ears too. You could actually see if you're on it. It's very small still, only 10 gauge. It
Wow.
doesn't look like anything.
Huge.
That was like an hour yesterday. But anyway.
Anyways, that was part of my update as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyways, I don't really have too much else to go over. Played a little bit of that, a little bit of this, typical
A little
stuff.
bit of this, a little bit of that.
We can go on into the actual update for this week, though. Not an update, like I said, kind of just a blog letting everyone know what to expect going into Forestry Part 2.
Something of a community consultation, you could say.
Something of a community consultation, if you remember their supposed rules for all the new polling. This is part of it.
Mhm.
But kind of for anyone that doesn't remember, Forestry Part 1 did introduce the new event system for any wood cutting wood bees that
Yeah.
are out wood cutting. You can get the forestry kit, introduce the new way to get the lumberjack outfit.
Yeah,
But
it has the invisible boost if there's a lot of you woodcutting. It just
yep,
introduced the new like woodcutting expansion.
yeah,
But that was only the tip of the iceberg.
yeah, it was honestly a pretty good,
I liked it.
yeah, pretty good expansion of the skill so far. I thought it went well,
Part
and
two's weirdly controversial.
yeah, weirdly controversial. We'll see why. I'm not entirely sure why,
I'm not
but
even entirely. Whenever you're like, we'll talk about why, I don't really know why.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So we'll be finding out when we read the feedback. I mean, there's some parts that I'm like meh about, but I don't understand why there's so much feedback. They even say at the beginning of this, thanks for all your feedback. We're discussing all of your concerns and we'll be back with an update blog later this week. And they're actually going to be postponing the. Sorry, I'm playing with the fidget spinner, so I just hit the desk. We're going to be postponing the stages call until Thursday, the 3rd of August.
Yep.
So there's postponements because there's so much controversy here for
Yeah.
some reason.
So for anyone that, well, I guess I kind of, we'll just talk about that real quick. But they are going to have another stages call on Discord. So if you want to participate in what is essentially just like another mod Q&A type deal for Forestry Part 2, they have that on Discord stages.
Yeah, so everything I'm assuming will be postponed a little bit, but they do have like a list of their timeline. We could just not even say the dates because I think everything is going to be changed a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, we could tell them just so that
Okay, what they used to be.
they can expect this timeline. It's still going to
Sure.
be generally this, but maybe a little bit later. They're going to have the Discord stages call previously on the 1st, now on the 3rd of August.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the news post feedback and changes on August 3rd.
So hopefully that actually is coming out so we could talk about in here.
Hopefully, but I feel like it might be pushed back a week if they can't get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Forestry Part 2 poll is hopefully going to be between the 7th to the 14th, with the beta news post early September, as well as the actual beta early September.
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed, yeah. For those of you who are understandably worried about a repeat of what happened with the first Forestry beta, if anyone doesn't remember,
there wasn't one.
There wasn't.
It
yeah.
didn't work.
It actually, I think because they had new stuff implemented into their beta worlds, the beta worlds themselves were actually just not working at all.
Yeah.
So They actually never went online ever. So we never got the Forestry beta at
It
all.
just showed up.
So this time we will have the Forestry beta, which is going to be testing the new effects. Now you've got a timeline. Here's what we'll be discussing today. And this is all the stuff that we missed from the first go through. And this is going to be the leaf effects, teas, campfires, bonfires, new events, new rewards, current content changes, and poll questions.
Cool. So starting out with tertiary effects. So let's start with one of the major points of feedback. Tertiary effects. Wow, wait for me to just repeat myself twice. You may have noticed that they were not listed in the section above about the content we're going to discuss today. Why is that? Because they're gone, basically. There's
Yeah.
not much to say. Tertiary effects were moving us away from the original design intention. We didn't feel like it was what you wanted. So instead, they're going to concentrate on giving us what they feel is actually necessary for the expansion.
Yeah, for anyone
So
that doesn't recall what
the
tertiary
tertiaries were
effects,
weird.
those were the ones that, for example,
They're like
gave you
Slayer
more
boosts,
Slayer
right?
points, yeah,
Yeah.
or a higher chance to spawn superior, stuff like that. So really stuff kind of out of the like left field, out of the blue.
Yeah, and it would just like kind of disrupt like the meta of other skills. Like you'd have to go woodcutting before you do anything
Yeah,
else.
really, or at least have leaves, you know.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of weird. Speaking of leaves, though, we do have leaf effects.
Mm-hmm.
Based on your feedback, we're going to go ahead with an invisible gathering and production boost from using leaves in campfires and teas. To clarify what we mean by invisible, let's compare the spicy stews. That's too hot. These too hot to handle stews give you a temporary boost to your level if you're lucky enough of +5 on your skill of choice. You'll be able to create objects 5 whole levels above your own for a brief period. That is pretty straightforward buff. Anyone that has boosted for usually like construction knows exactly
Oh
what this
yes.
is
Yeah,
because
and these are visible boosts as well.
these are visible boosts, and you do have to get lucky to get the +5.
It's really annoying.
Unlike spicy stews, however, the invisible buffs from leaves will instead give you a higher success rate in gathering and production activities. So whether you're cutting a tree, trying to light a fire, picking someone's pocket, or using nails to create the same piece of furniture over and over again, you'll be able to more likely to succeed on those actions. We're getting to the part that I don't like. At the
It's already a
moment,
little weird.
yeah, at the moment, the very highest buff you will receive from leaves will give you 12% increase in your success rate in the appropriate skill. Because of the changes in the tertiary effect, we've also decided to remove the power option shown in the previous blogs, and we won't be adding any more leaves. Each of the current leaves will provide its own level of gathering, production, and duration that you can use when creating campfires and teas. So gathering is going to increase your gathering success chance, production, your production success chance, and duration will be the duration with each plus sign being an extra 30 seconds.
Okay, and yeah, they're shown an entire graph that we can't show right now, but
Yeah, they have a graph. So
it's just showing
essentially,
like what kind of leaves will boost how long.
yeah, so normal leaves, oak and willow will increase your duration. Maple has a balance of gather and production. Yew has more production, and magic has more gather. So I'm guessing you can combine these to make like an ultimate stew or just whatever you have access to.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I'm confused about. So their first question is, should we introduce the invisible boosts? This will be used on campfires and teas to boost success chance for certain actions in gathering and production. The thing I'm like kind of confused about is that like I don't I I don't know exactly what this would entail. Like 12% success rate in the appropriate skill is like really vague.
So it'd be like if you're pickpocketing someone, you're 12% more likely to be successful.
Yeah, but it says
You drink a tea
gathering and
before.
production. Like I don't know what in production I would need more success at. Like can I like have a better chance
Um,
at cutting gems? Like what is
that's
that?
true. Yeah. I just the tea and the leaves for some reason just don't sound great to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because they sound like annoying and like they have so many graphs for it, but I'm just like not really excited about them.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
I'm also like getting hung up on like if you use nails to make a piece of furniture, can you fail that?
think you could bend nails.
You could so it'd save you a couple nails. Oh.
Maybe?
I
See, I'm
mean,
not totally sure. They
outs,
don't give
outs,
examples like that.
outside of the ones that they chose, like cutting a tree, lighting a fire, like this kind of makes me feel like it again would just make it more required if you're gonna go mining, for example.
Hmm.
It's like this is gonna increase your success chance of mining, which could increase your XP by a lot, assuming you're not like power
Yeah.
mining or something
It's
like
the same
that.
concern with the tertiary that people don't want to feel like you have to go and do forestry for an hour before you go and work on other skills.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what the correct answer would be, but I don't really like this. I don't know if I think I would like another option more. As this is now, I would kind of prefer it to just only pertain to woodcutting.
I agree. Honestly, yeah.
Because
Woodcutting and maybe
if
fire making,
if
because
there
that's
are,
like right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
fletching too,
Yeah,
like
maybe wood
directly
things.
related.
Yeah, like if they're like, all right, so gathering, you cut wood
It's like
faster.
thieving though. Like, what does that have to do with
Yeah, it's like
anything?
thieving
That could just be an
or
example, to be fair. We might be exaggerating.
I mean, and then production. I don't like what is production? Like do you I mean, it said only certain skills, but like what skills in production would this pertain to?
I have no idea.
Like are you going to craft potions betterer or something? Like I mean, that's a ridiculous concept, but like I don't know what production skill you would do. Like you don't
hmm
fail production skills.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just don't really get it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why it doesn't sound interesting to me. From the first time we mentioned teas, I feel like every time we mention the teas and the leaves, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. It's like I'm not producing like maybe if it was like, oh, I'm producing more when I fletch, like I don't know. They need to be more particular in what 12% increased success rate means because I'm that's off-putting for me because I don't know what that means. That seems
Yeah,
really vague and or just unnecessary.
true.
If they're all like, yeah, so this makes it so you cut wood faster, you light fires better, and you get more like like shafts when you cut wood for fletching.
hmm
Like maybe if they did that and then the duration thing, I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever. But as this stands, this is kind of weird.
Not your favorite.
No, I'd probably vote no because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, not really my favorite either. But moving on to more tea things, but this one is campfire and teas. So it's not just leaves that give benefits. Brewing perfectly crafted teas and hanging out at Foresters campfires will also provide handy buffs. Lighting a fire with any type of log and then adding a leaf or another log to the roaring flames will transform it into a special Foresters campfire. The smoke will indicate that it has changed. I do like the smoke effect. It looks very
Yeah,
pretty.
that's cool.
The better the log, the longer the duration of the fire. You'll then have two options. You can tend to and rest. So tend to will allow you to interact with the campfire, letting you add leaves to create a flame that all players, except for irons, can benefit from. Irons can benefit from any leaves that they add to the fire themselves, and GIM members can get the benefit from leaves added by any member of their group. The more you add to the campfire, the better the benefits will be. To actually gain these benefits, select the rest option, which will also give you a chance to relax after all that hard chopping. Sit down and pull out a nice cup of drink next to the campfire, and after a little while, you'll receive the benefits as long as you stay within a 15 tile radius. Then you can get straight back to tree chop in action. As an additional bonus, we're going to give you a nice AFK method of fire making alongside those lovely buffs. So for a quarter of the normal experience, you'll be able to burn and add logs one at a time, so up to 10 in one click to the campfire. This new method won't supersede any current fire making training methods. Lighting normal fires or visiting Wintertot will be far superior in terms of XP, but we thought this would be a handy little extra. So these campfires will deplete over time. In order to keep the benefits going, you'll need to keep the fire fueled and ready with logs and leaves. So should we introduce Foresters campfires? And if question 2 passes, should we allow you to add logs for a quarter of the normal fire making XP? Okay, thoughts. Tell me your
Um,
thoughts.
yeah, so that's gonna be a no for me, dog,
I don't
on both of
I
them.
think I liked it before, but now thinking about it, I'm like, who is going to want to AFK rest in the middle of your woodcutting grind?
No, and also
I get
again,
it. It's cute. It seems social. It's
yeah,
like aesthetically pleasing seeing your little character sing there, but no one's gonna be like, time to sit here for a minute so I can make sure I get benefits.
yeah, that's weird. I think they could potentially leave aspects of this in, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, I'm not on the wagon on this one because
Yeah.
the first thing again, kind of tying back to my last point, I don't know what buffs they're talking about. They don't mention a single time what buffs they're
Do they
talking
get to it? I
about.
think that they might get to it.
It says
I
it'll
don't remember.
provide handy buffs. What buffs and how handy, brother? Because
Well,
I need to know.
I'm just like, what buffs would you want to have to sit and rest in order to get? Because
I
I
don't know.
mean, not to be that person, but that's just like XP waste.
If this is if this is the same buffs as the teas, you should have been like the same buffs from the teas. Like you can't put
hmm
handy buffs. Like that is so many things could be in handy buffs. We need to know what that means.
Yeah.
This is just like, oh, should we introduce new bosses and then you just add like 50 new bosses or something like No, we need to know what you mean, like, or
Hmm.
this just doesn't make sense.
I was thinking like the idea of having a fire with benefits within your 15 tiles, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that's actually cool if you could set that up and you don't have to sit there and AFK in order to gain the benefits. It's
Yeah,
weird that you'll be losing XP. I mean, it seems like you'll be losing XP whenever you rest. It's just like no one's going to want to rest.
I think it would
I
be.
imagine I wouldn't want to.
I think the rest is the only thing that I could see being something that I could leave in the game.
Really? Because that's the part that's throwing me off the most.
Mainly because I see it as like, oh, we'll get to in a second, but I could see it being like, wood cutting with a two-handed axe takes a lot of energy.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll get to
So
the 200x.
if like resting is like, all right, so your rest time is increased by 4 times when you're resting,
Mm-hmm.
like your energy, which is still slow, still really slow, but it's still a lot faster than if you didn't have any energy and were chopping with a two-handed axe.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see like leaving that in, make it 8 times. I don't care if you want to sit down and you want to just maximize your two-handed wood cutting speed. Sure, I don't care. But maybe add a different benefit because the
Mm-hmm.
rest thing I think is cool. It's interactable. The buffs I think could be cool, but you need to let us know what they are because like we could just have a tertiary thing on our hands and you just aren't telling us.
Yeah.
Um also,
Well, what do you think of the fire
no,
making?
absolutely
Wait,
not.
I actually liked that because it's a nice AFK method. That's really not great XP. But
No.
honestly, it'd probably still be pretty good XP because Wintertot's like mega good. Lighting fires yourself's mega good. And if it's only a quarter, it's better than like mining.
A quarter of the normal experience you'll be able to, no, it's a quarter of the normal experience you get from burning the logs.
I know, but even burning the logs is a lot of XP.
I think, yeah, I don't think this is good for anything.
Really? I
No.
thought it'd be a nice AFK thing, but fair.
No, the XP my reasoning is like, one, very few people are going to use this. I feel like
Yeah.
the people that are, I feel like maybe it's going to be some weird exploit or something like that, like, and one, it's like
Who would exploit this game?
this is like mega AFK,
Yeah.
but it's only for 10, which, I mean, how many ticks is that, like 20
Up to 10
seconds?
in one click.
10 in one click, but I mean overall, like how many ticks are you like going to be AFK? Like 30
Yeah.
30 seconds at most.
Yeah, it's not very AFK.
Yeah, so it's not very AFK, and also
But it's more AFK than current fire making,
my
I guess.
main thing is you get so much XP from burning logs any other way,
Mhm.
winter tot or otherwise, that this just seems foolish.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not opposed to that actually.
Like,
I like how we're very different on what we do and don't like.
yeah, my thing is if you burn 5 logs, which takes 5 seconds, that's as much experience as a whole inventory.
Mm-hmm. But it's
Or,
faster probably.
a little bit less, but yeah, almost a whole inventory. All right, 6 logs, because I know someone's gonna say something. 6 logs, it's almost a whole inventory.
Yeah.
So it's like, that just seems, I don't know who this appeals to, honestly.
It's very part one forestry was better in my opinion.
Yeah, this is just a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah.
They do go on though, and they say, but what if you don't want to share? If you prefer the solo lifestyle, you might opt to create your own brew with similar effects from the campfire. These new teas can be created by adding some leaves to a
A teacup.
teacup of water, as long as you're standing next to a campfire. An interface similar to campfire will appear, and you'll be able to create a scrumptious brew that is made by you for you. The amount of leaves you can add to any one tea is based on your combined herb lore and woodcutting level, with a maximum amount of leaves for any one tea set at 15. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I think this is what the buffs would be. They just didn't mention it until after the poll.
So
for some
this
reason.
would, my impression is this is bonuses you get to your woodcutting level.
Uh,
Or do they not say
I
they
don't
missed
know.
again? They don't.
We're about
do
to see. So they have a thing saying combined level, number of leaves, and max chance increase.
But what is the max
There's
chance? Increase
no
what?
combined levels of what? Number of leaves is the only thing that
Well,
makes
the combined
sense.
level. No, the combined level makes sense because that's your combined combat and woodcutting.
Combined
Or sorry, herb lore and woodcutting.
Okay, so 200. So max?
Yeah, if you're maxed both,
That's
15 leaves.
That's still not 200.
I know their math was wrong.
Yeah.
But if you max that 15 leaves, then you get a max chance increase of 11.25. But I don't know what is increasing.
Yeah.
Are we dumb? Like, I don't know what it's increasing.
I
Or
don't know.
they're not saying here at least.
Yeah. It just says max chance increase 11.25, whatever that
Yeah,
is.
that's the best.
Teas, they're not going to be tradable via the Grand Exchange, but they can be traded between players, which means if you want to create your very own little tea shop, you can set up and sell your brews. We also add the option to destroy cups once you finish with them, as long as you've completed Alfred Grimhand's bar crawl. Also, you have to enable automatic vial smashing, of course. This will apply to your teas, so don't get mad when you start smashing your teas. You'll be able to make 4 cups of tea with a simple piece of soft clay, much like other pieces of pottery. So you can make your own teas, of course.
Teacups.
Well, teacups, and then make your own teas.
Yeah.
Remember, you can only have one set of effects active at any one time. So if you choose to drink a cup of tea with a different boost, it will be overridden.
Okay.
So I have a couple things. Like one, this is for the solo player. I don't know. I don't think they mentioned it, but you should be able to opt out of other people's buffs.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, if you don't want them for whatever reason, you should just be able to opt out.
Are you talking about for the fires?
Yeah, for the fires.
Oh,
for the campfires.
okay. I thought you meant for this, and I was like, you don't drink their tea.
Because this is to override the campfires, right?
I think it would override it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost certain the campfires wouldn't be able to override this, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just like, if you don't want the buff, you shouldn't get it.
For the campfire, I think you have to rest to get the buff.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that something I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to rest in order to get it, which I had a problem with, but I guess that kind of makes sense if you want to be alone.
Yeah,
That you wouldn't get it.
Yeah,
just standing
that's
there.
cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
2 is like you got to make your own. Sure, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know what the chance is again.
I don't know. I think that we might have went over in the past, but straight up, like, I don't remember right now.
I mean, we're reading this almost verbatim, like so far.
Do they go down on it after? Like, do they read it or like say what's happening after that?
I don't
Scroll
know.
down a little bit.
We're gonna continue on. No, they
No,
just
they
don't do
don't, yeah.
events. So either way, question 4: should we introduce tea brewing by using leaves from teas gained from forestry? You can create your very own teas that give benefits. Again, they don't say which benefits.
A little hesitant.
As far as we know, I mean, like we said, we've almost read this verbatim. I don't see where they say
We've
the
gone
benefits.
over them in the past, but like I don't remember because I think we have talked about the benefits.
Yeah, it just says max chance increase. It doesn't say max chance
Of
of
what?
getting logs, max chance
Yeah.
of, I don't know, getting 1,000,000 GP. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, it's 11.25, I'm guessing, percent chance increase. So
I'm
yeah,
hesitant
kinda
about
weird.
it. I'm excited to read their feedback thing because I don't really know what to think.
Yeah, I'd vote no, but as a concept, I'd vote yes because this seems cool. You can bring your stuff with you, so you don't have to make a fire. Like if you can't make a fire in a cave
Yeah.
or something like that, then that's cool. But yeah, the fact that I don't know what it does is kind of weird.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
they didn't go out of their way to mention it a single time in these 2 entire several paragraph poll questions. So kind of weird.
Something I'm actually excited for though is the events.
Yeah, the events do look
The
really
events
cool.
is like
This
basically the only thing I'm really
may
excited
seem
for.
doom and gloom from us so far, but the events are really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so they'll be adding some brand new events, each with their own rewards, and there's actually one free to play event as
The
well.
only one, yeah.
One free to play event. But first, let's talk about a rework of an old event, which would be the Leprechaun. So in part 1 of the rework, players liked the utility of the Leprechaun event, but they didn't like how other events couldn't spawn while it was active, which we
Yes.
spoke about at length actually.
Yeah, I really like the utility of it.
Yeah, but it sucks that you can't have the rising roots at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had 2 options: make other events spawn around it, or rework the event to give something else worthy of your efforts. We thought there was plenty more potential in option 2, so here is the plan. You'll still be able to use the baking features of the event, and that won't change. However, we've added new rainbows that will spawn periodically around the Leprechaun. Running into these rainbows will grant you a buff that will not only give you additional XP, but will also give you the chance of getting anima-infused bark from simply cutting the trees. So that means that the more rainbows that you interact with, the longer this buff will last, and make sure that you go and indulge in the multicolor madness. I like it. I would have also, okay, this will probably be more beneficial because I'm lazy. I was going to say, I wish I would just spawn around other events because now I'm like, oh, you have to run around a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I feel like it'll look pretty.
As soon as they said, "Oh, we saw a lot of potential in the second one," I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay. I mean, it does sound like a nice event, but you have to run around, and I'm used to the events that we already have, so
Yeah.
it's just pure laziness.
Yep, I agree. We also have another event called Friendly End.
This is adorable.
You'll notice that all these events are not violent.
Yeah.
counter to how the events used to be at one point or another.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they talked about originally. They were like, they were saying some
They're
violent
like, you
suggestions.
chop down these trees while they're begging for their lives, and you kill these pheasants while they're running for their
And they had
lives.
to be
It's
like,
like,
oh, it turns out you guys didn't want that.
all right, who asked for this while cutting trees,
I know.
brother?
They do mention that later on, actually, how we asked for nonviolent things.
Yeah, so we have friendly ants. This is the only free-to-play event in our roster. Does not require an item, and will have a chance to occur whenever you chop trees. I'm guessing this still wouldn't work on regular trees, but
Presumably, yeah, oak and above.
oak and above, hopefully. 6 entlings will spawn around you, complaining about the state of their current hairdos. Your job is to give them a trim that meets their barnet ambitions. Will it be a classic trim, or should one of them pull off the always groovy mullet?
I love.
I don't know why they did groovy mullet. I don't think that's an 80s thing or 70s.
It was 80s. So it
Yeah,
was like,
I think it was
what's an
80s.
80s word? Like gnarly. No.
I don't know. Let us know, old people. You'll have 3 options to cut their back, sides, and top. Each combination of the 3 will result in a different do for the baby trees.
You're a little baby tree.
Make the cut by clicking on any of the ends and interacting with the interface, or simply by right-clicking the tiny trees and choosing the cutting action you want.
You're a tiny tree.
Okay, we'll get some experience in anima-infused bark for every ant satisfied with their trim, and you'll gain an experience drop and quantity of anima-infused bark at the end based on the time in the event, much like in the struggling sapling. You'll also get a random amount of leaves and a chance for an egg nest.
Yeah, presumably
So-
not that if you're on Free to Play the Worlds, though.
Yeah, probably not that if you're free to play. Anyways, sounds like a pretty cool
I
event.
think it sounds pretty cute.
It's pretty simple.
I feel like it'll just be like struggling sapling, kind of.
Yeah, honestly,
everyone solving together.
honestly, none of the events are bad. They just really need to balance the effort to XP ratio.
Yeah, I wonder if this one will be a lot of effort because it's like 6 ends, 3 different things each end. I'm like,
Yeah, because
Seems
now
like it might be a lot.
even nowadays, the XP for the pollinating bee event still isn't very good.
yeah, I haven't
It's-
done forestry in a few weeks.
I think it's still like if I had to guess, the most disliked one of the 4, even maybe over the leprechaun, just because of
Yeah.
how little XP it gives.
True. But similar actually to
Speaking of bee events.
speaking of bee events, listen, look, I get a segue too. They have a beehive event. So to get started with this event, you'll need to create a smoke canister. So that will be with the new smoke fuel, leather, and steel bar, and you'll need those with you when you are chopping the trees. So the beekeeper will spawn as the beehive drops out of the tree. You'll need to help rehome the bees by building temporary bee boxes for the beekeeper to transport them. Using any type of log on the bee boxes, you'll build them up to be the bee-friendly equivalent of a POH. I just had like a vision of like being able to decorate their little bee houses,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I wish.
Yeah, I thought it was kinda
That's
cute.
cute. Build as many bee-friendly homes as you can in the time limit. You get a little bit of XP per log added and get a big XP drop when a bee box is completed, as well as an anima-infused bark drop and the chances to get a bee box part. These parts can be combined to create a bee box for your own POH, but if you already have one or don't want it, you can trade this into the Friendly Forester for a plentiful serving of anima-infused bark.
Nice.
Yeah.
Overall, seems like a pretty good event.
Yeah, so question 5, should they offer the chance to receive bee box parts from the beehive event? Because the event will be added no matter what, but the bee box parts.
Yeah.
I think that'd
that's
be
cool.
cute. It'd just be like a cute little flex thing for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it doesn't do anything.
Speaking of a flex, we can roll into the next one, and it's going to be
Mhm.
pheasant control. Kind of like we just alluded to before. You were really just murdering these little baby pheasants.
I mean,
that-
whenever the freaky forester shows up, he's like, kill that pheasant for me. And he's like, thanks. Gives you like later hose or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
that's
the
weird.
outfit is.
They do say in our initial round of feedback, the violent aspect of the events didn't sit right with you. We totally agree. And we've tweaked a couple of events for a more chill and peaceful forestry vibe. This is pheasant control. You'll need a pheasant spoon, which you're going to craft with a new egg cradle, as well as a limestone brick, to spawn this event when chopping trees. Nests will spawn around the tree, with all but one containing a pheasant protecting their eggs. Your job is to locate the unprotected nests and remove the eggs, then take them to the freaky forester. So we're just stealing their eggs.
Yeah, it's still not nice, but at least
Nice.
we're not killing them.
Yeah, I guess,
He's probably going to raise them.
the lesser of 2 evils. He's definitely not going to eat them. Then
he's gonna
take them
raise
to
them.
the freaky forester who has also cropped up. Pheasants will switch nests periodically to guard their eggs, so you need to keep on top of which nests you're interacting with.
We're the bad guys.
You'll only
Always.
be able to carry one egg at a time via your pheasant spoon. If you try taking an egg from a guarded nest or next to a nest when the pheasant flies in, you'll be stunned briefly. You'll gain experience, drop, and animal bark for each egg handed over at the end of the event. You'll have a chance to earn pheasant feathers, which is kind of the flex I alluded to, which can be traded in at the Varrock Fancy Clothes store for a grand pheasant outfit.
This outfit's actually pretty cute.
Yeah,
I like the hat. It's just like a giant pheasant feather
it's
on a
got
little hat.
gloves, pants, boots, cape, hat,
Little bird feet.
and little bird feet.
It's cute. I actually quite like it.
Yeah, so similar to the B-Box parts, though, you can trade these in for a load of anima-infused bark if you don't want or already have the outfit. So pretty cool. We also heard your comments about getting a pheasant and fox pet. While we think 3 pets from 1 skill is probably too much, we'd like to give you some more transmog options for your beaver. On completing the event, you'll have a chance to get a golden pheasant egg, which can be used on the beaver to change the wood-loving critter into a freaky pheasant.
All right.
Kinda
Well,
cool.
we'll read the questions first and we'll talk about it. 'Cause I
Should
have
we
thoughts.
offer the chance to receive pheasant feathers and from the pheasant event? And also, question 7, should we offer the chance to receive a golden pheasant egg for a new beaver pet unlock?
All right. I love the pheasant event idea, even though we're still stealing their eggs. It's kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
I wish that the pheasant was its own pet.
Oh, I don't care.
Because they were like, we don't want to have 3 pets in the same thing. Like, I feel like maybe the pheasant and the fox could be transmogs or something. But like, I was thinking like Hunter. Hunter has multiple pets as well.
Yeah, but it's from different things.
These are different events.
These are just chopping trees.
I guess so. Yeah. It's just like sad that you have to choose between them because they all look so incredibly
I
different.
mean, you still essentially get 3 pets. You just have to have the one.
You wouldn't get it.
Oh, because you don't have. Oh, this all comes back
This
to
isn't that
Tangleroot.
Tangleroot. Oh my
Oh,
God.
here we go.
Anyway, whatever. I wish that was its own pet because it's cute and I will have to choose between them.
Okay, well, either way, we're gonna get 3 pets essentially. So next one is gonna be for poachers.
Originally, we were the poachers, right?
Originally, I think we were,
Yeah.
or we were helping, something like that.
Yeah, so speaking of transmogs, you'll be able to get a fox whistle from this event, which unlocks the ability to transmog the beaver pet into a cute little fox. I love him.
Yeah, so we get 3 pets.
Yeah. To get that chance, you'll need to create a trap disarming kit. So you will have the disarming kit blueprint, which is new, which you combine with bronze wire and iron bar, and that will spawn this event once a tree is chopped. A fox will appear and start to wander on the trees. Unfortunately, poachers will also appear, placing traps down to injure the fox.
It's kind of messed up.
It's really messed up, but kind of realistic. So your task is to disarm these poachers. Or disarm,
Disarm the
traps.
traps, yeah.
You beat up the poachers. So as the first player clicks the trap, other players have a short period of time to also interact with the trap in order to contribute. The trap will be disarmed after the first player completes their disarm. So if you're not quick enough and a fox walks into a trap, they'll lose some hit points. When they lose all their hit points,
They die.
No, they'll limp off to lick their wounds. So make sure to disarm all the traps and save the little foxy boy. You'll gain some XP and anima-infused bark for each trap you've helped disarm, and a big final drop of XP and bark depending on your contribution. Question 8, should they offer the fox whistle to have the fox transmog pet?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mhm.
Like the event so far. And we have the final event. This is going to be a druidic event, so enchantment ritual.
The druid looks pretty.
Our final event calls for you to aid a dryad in completing a ritual that will keep the forest of Gilnor safe and the trees constantly responding. You'll need to create a petal garland, which is going to be crystal charm, which is new, as well as flowers and a ball of wool to spawn this event once you have a tree is chopped. A number of ritual spots of all different colors and shapes will spawn around the tree you've chopped. Stand on the ritual spot that corresponds with the necessary shape or color the dryad needs. There could be multiple spots at once, so keep them peeled. Note, we're currently discussing whether the dryad should tell you what she needs or whether it should be down to you to work out which ones you need. You'll have a completion bar that will need to be filled to complete the event, and you'll receive a big drop of XP and anima bark at the end. After the event, you'll have a chance to receive a wearable version of the petal garland, which once again you can keep or sell for a good amount of bark. Remember, you'll need to have the item on you to get the best rewards and qualify for these extra goodies.
Yeah.
So something you might want to keep on hand if you
'cause
like this event.
honestly, before I was encouraging everyone, just don't even buy stuff. Other people are doing it or build. But if you want the cool extra drops,
Yeah.
probably have
And
it.
also, if you want to spawn the event,
Yeah.
make sure to keep it on you. So that's question number 9. Should we offer the wearable petal garland
Sounds pretty.
from the event?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the events a lot so far. I think they're pretty strong,
Yeah.
probably on par with the first ones. Nothing crazy, but
I actually
all
kind of
pretty
like the
good.
events more than the first one.
Oh yeah.
They seem more interactive, in my opinion.
They seem more interactive. I am still hesitant though on them being like kind of bad for XP or too disruptive from
True.
woodcutting.
That's fair.
But it'll take some time to see how it goes. On paper though, it seems good.
Yeah. Moving on to rewards. So there are some brand new rewards that you can get from the friendly Forester shop, starting out with the two-handed axe, which we have already gone over, but we'll go over a little bit again.
Yeah, because there is a very special effect that
I hate it.
I don't know if this is what people are more hesitant about, but I certainly am.
I am as well. So these two-handed beasts will act as an upgrade to basically every kind of axe, including third age, but you'll need the same woodcutting levels to use them. So like high
61 for wood for Dragon Axe
whatever it
and
is
so
to
on.
hold it, yeah. So you can make the two-hander by purchasing the exclusive axe handle from the forestry shop and combining the handle with your current axe. This process is irreversible.
Yeah, so don't accidentally make a two-handed third
Yeah.
age and expect to be able to undo it.
Yeah. Both the axe handle and two-handed axes will be tradable on the GE. So the two-handed axe will chop at the same speed as your regular one, but it will allow you to gain extra XP in exchange for getting fewer logs. This benefit uses your run energy at the cost of 40 points per successful chop, and you'll receive 20% more XP for each successful hit of the tree, with a 20% chance to not gain a log. Normally, you'd only get 2 proper swings in, so is it worth it? Well, that's where our friend the Forester's Ration comes in. These treats will guarantee you restore 20 points of energy per swing when using a two-handed axe, which means if you got a bunch of rations in your forestry kits, these are what it'll look like. I don't even know how to explain this.
Yeah.
I don't even. I don't know. It says like, okay, so chop 5 times. Effect, or no, not that one. Chop 4 times. Effect active. Yes. Energy pre-chop would be 40. After the chop, it'd be 0. But then if you consume a ration, it will be 20. Just
It's
showing how much energy you're losing and
yeah.
gaining.
So it's just showing that every time you chop successfully, it'll be 40 energy, but
Mm-hmm.
you'll automatically use an energy ration if you have one, gaining you 20 energy back. So essentially, you'll be able to chop successfully with the two-handed axe 4 times before you officially run out of energy if you are using the energy rations.
I don't get multiple things. Like, I don't want to run out of energy when doing it. I kind
Yeah.
of thought it was just going to be a look and it wasn't going to be different.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't know, why does it matter if you're running out of energy? Is it so you can't run around? Like, can't you just stay at the same tree?
It's because they don't want it to be just a straight up upgrade, which it would be. I don't know why
Yeah,
they didn't make it just so that it cuts slower.
they should have done that.
Because, I mean, it's two handed. You would think it would cut slower. All two
Mm-hmm.
handed weapons are slower.
Yeah, the stamina just seems very random to me.
Yeah. If you just made it so you get logs on every fifth tick instead of every fourth tick, then, I
But
mean,
it's the higher XP, so it would like still be better, kind of.
yeah, I don't know
Just make it
how it
do.
would
The
work
stamina is
out.
just weird to me.
Yeah, it seems like a really like over engineered way of doing it.
I'd agree with that for sure.
I don't necessarily even dislike it. It just seems kind of like over the top as far as mechanics go for something as simple as wood cutting.
Yeah, I feel like I would have preferred if it just looked cool and didn't do anything different.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So yeah, for anyone wondering, a simple explanation is if you have unlimited energy, this will be straight up 20% more XP. So
Mhm.
if
But you'll
you
run out of energy as you go along.
yeah, so if you chopped wood 4 times and you got 100 XP each time, it'd be 400. But with the two-handed axe, it'd be 480 for those same chops. So it's a nice improvement, but you'd run out of energy and would need a lot of staminas. You can use staminas. Uh,
Various other injury restores effects will work. We want to highlight that the reduced energy drain effect from stamina pots will not.
yeah, so that only affects run energy. So you just would be chugging energy potions or stamina potions.
Doesn't
If
that mean that stamina won't work?
no, it just means the delayed running effect.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that won't work, but the
Okay.
energy restore part of it will.
Okay.
So kind of weird. Not a big fan of it. I
Not a huge
wish it
fan.
was just the same old AFK thing, but they're all like, yeah, you get. I thought it would make more sense if it was slower and you got more logs.
People don't want logs as much though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like this is supposed to be the main thing, anyways.
That's true. It's just really weird.
It should have been good at one thing.
Yeah.
Like how, how, like, the scythe isn't very good, except for the one thing. It's really good at that one
Yeah.
thing. So that's kind of how I thought they were going to do it, but
It's interesting for sure.
I don't see anyone using this except for all the mains that have a trillion staminas.
Yeah. But something that people will use,
Is
probably.
arguably is
Oh,
the
I thought so.
sawmill
I
voucher.
thought people would want it.
This handy dandy little ticket is stackable, tradable, and sellable at the GE. And this will help you out massively when creating those trusty planks, or should have been pesky planks. Take them along your next sawmill visit, and each voucher will give you 2 planks for every log used. More planks for fewer resources. Vouchers will only be consumed if you have the space for the planks. So there's no chance of accidentally spending loads of vouchers and leaving tons of planks on the floor.
That's good.
I was about to say, because this seems. Wait, you bring 27 logs to the guy, and he would give you 27 planks, unnoted.
Yes.
How is this going to save you? This will
It's
save
to
you
save you
wood.
money.
It'll save you wood, and it won't save you time.
It'll
Though.
save you wood and money.
Oh wow, I
Yeah.
hate this.
Oh, I like it. I don't know. I haven't had to really make planks on the iron yet, so.
Yeah, I don't know. This kind of, yeah, man, unfortunate. Because this is like such a thing where it's like people don't go and do this like normally.
I don't know.
Most people, I think, either one, get their planks from other means,
Or they plank make.
whether that's bosses or temporos or whatever, and then or like you said, plank make. You can AFK plank make. By the time you unlock it, you probably have plenty of runes in order to do it.
Well, this isn't confirmed though. Question 10 is, should they offer these vouchers?
I think they should, but I think they should be stronger. I
So?
think they should double and note them.
Well, if they note them, then people just stand there forever.
No, because you'd run out of wood.
No, you'd run out. You'd have vouchers. I'm assuming they won't be very expensive.
Yeah, no, the vouchers, you have to turn in the wood to use the voucher.
Oh, true.
It says whenever
to
you take
sell
your
it.
wood to the sawmill, it'll saw 2 planks for every log you use.
So, okay, now I get it. So you bring like 13 logs and get changed.
Yeah, because I'm guessing these aren't going to be cheap,
I don't know. They don't say how much it costs you.
Even
either,
if
which
they
makes it
are, I
hard.
feel like they can make them a little more expensive and then do what I said, because then they'd be like, oh, that's a viable Iron Man thing to do.
True. I just don't know if it'd be too good for iron though.
It might be, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like not a good thing anyways. So it's like,
Not your favorite?
even if this existed, because of the ease of it, I would probably still just do temporos or plank make or
Yeah.
kill a boss.
True. Easy
But
escape.
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure some people think this is cool, but I personally don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, unlike the other things where I don't think anyone would like it, I think some people might like
I
this.
kind of like it, I think, but I don't really have enough experience making planks yet to really know how I feel.
Yeah, I definitely see the advantage of it though.
Yeah, next up is Twitcher's gloves. So these are previously called the Arborist gloves, and we have made some slight changes.
These are only for Twitch streamers.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you that don't know, a Twitcher is a term for bird watchers since pre-streaming times. It was actually before Twitch.
Sure.
Sounds made up.
Oh, let's calm
Okay.
down, dude.
So you'll be able to purchase this bird nerd hand warmers fully charged from the shop and buy subsequent charges from the friendly Forester too. But what do? So you can choose to receive an increased chance by 10% to receive one type of bird's nest. So that could be ring, egg, seed, or clue nest. Each time you roll a chance for a nest with these gloves on, a charge will be consumed and the 10% effect will apply. We're going to make sure these charges for these gloves are very affordable so you're never sure of that next nest drop. These will only work with the wood cutting, so for those of you who want to get clues from these, you'll have to stick to chopping. Sorry. So just like while doing RAM stuff, you're not going to be getting benefits.
Also, this just shattered my mind. I've never bothered to look this up. I feel like you could have easily, I'm sure people have connected these dots before, but Twitch and Twitcher, that would make sense because Twitcher is a bird watcher.
Yeah, you're watching streamers.
Twitch is a person watcher.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird.
That is really weird. I didn't think about
Interesting.
that either.
Yeah, kind of funny if it did derive from there. I mean, it has
Yeah.
to have, right? There's no way
No,
that's
definitely.
a coincidence.
But question 11 is, should we offer these Twitcher gloves? I like them.
These are cool.
Yeah, I don't know if the 10%'s too much.
10%'s a lot.
Yeah, but it
Well,
uses the charge whether or not you get them.
It says increased chance by 10%. So
Yeah,
it's
so it's
not
not guaranteed.
It's not huge. It's not 10% raw. It's just on top of whatever the chance is.
Well, I guess what I was comparing it to was like the combat achievements, how you only get you get barely any more benefits on like chances of getting clue scrolls whenever you do like Grandmaster combat achievements. But then like these random gloves will give you an increased chance by quite a bit.
Yeah, but like they said, you have to charge it all the time.
That's
So
true.
it says, yeah, and it'll be a charge will be consumed and the 10% effect will apply. But
I like it. I just don't know if it's too good.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I honestly I don't really think it's too good, mostly because I don't want nests all the time. The only
Yeah.
reason I want nests a lot is if I'm like making is it sourdough and brews? Which
Yeah.
ones require?
Spruce.
Yeah. So, which I mean is not super common.
It would be nice to get more clue scrolls. I don't want to be greedy. I'm trying to think of it as like a would it be good?
It would be nice for seeds as
It could be
well.
really nice for seeds.
Yeah, and also for anyone farming the
Evil
egg,
chicken
yeah, the
outfit.
evil chicken
I
outfit.
want that so
So
bad.
honestly, I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yeah, I like it. I think
I think it's cool, but yeah, I don't know if it's too good.
yeah, it may be too good. Also, we have current content changes. Something that may be coming soon is while we're here, we thought we'd address some feedback points for the woodcutting expansion. First off, we hear your 99 woodcutters out there want to get the effect of the woodcutting cape and wear your forestry kit at the same time. We're adding an item to the shop that'll let you receive the benefits of the woodcutting cape without needing to add one to your kit. This will be a one-time unlock for 99,999 coins, so essentially buying a cape again
Yeah.
anyways. This can only be purchased if you have 99 woodcutting. Secondly, we know the log basket can kind of suck, so we're going to make it work more like a plank sack, which doesn't suck.
Yes.
Third, we've heard your concerns from UIMs and taking away the option to easily retrieve your forestry items. We're going to allow the forestry kit to be stored in the player owned house, meaning everyone can keep all their collected and created materials. I'm sure there already have been UIMs that have trashed their forestry kit because it's
Can't do anything with it.
unneeded storage.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, at least it's free to reclaim, but yeah.
Yeah. As always, we will continue to keep an eye on feedback, and like we
Yeah.
have said and other people have
They
said,
did.
there is a lot of feedback
Yes.
on this post. So
Which
hopefully they change some stuff.
yeah, so hopefully we'll be getting back to the feedback in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Fingers
Hopefully.
crossed that Jagex doesn't embarrass us and is not out tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see. I
We'll
mean, they
see.
do hate us.
Or you'll see right now.
All right. So we are back. It is Thursday.
Hello.
And good thing we waited because there's actually kind of a lot to go over as far as
Yeah.
updates to the docket go. So we have an update on forestry, kind of like we just mentioned. Luckily, they did end up coming out with it, and
A
we
lot
also
of changes on that actually.
yeah, a ton of changes. And then we also had Desert Treasure 2 tweaks and drop rates, so a little bit of the actual update for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll jump into. Do you have any updates?
I do. I had one update last night. I got a purple in my name for the first time in a second. It was only a Fang, but more excitedly,
Only a Fang.
only a Fang. I mean, Fang actually went up, so we got 24
Fang's
mil each. It was
more
a duo.
expensive than the Grazi right now.
I know, right? Isn't that weird? I got the Akka transmog.
Yep, nice.
My last transmog that I needed, like from TOA at all, actually.
How do you tell the unknowers how you get that?
You do Akka in a 450 with all of its invos on, and everyone has to be deathless. Akka also has to be at least level 4. So it was horrible, scary. I could have died.
I could have died.
I was drinking ambrosias like a maniac,
If
but
the bullet was 2 inches to the left and 2 feet up.
I could have died.
Could have died. Yeah, cool. Congratulations.
But I did it.
But
Thanks.
yeah. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Nice.
But I am really, really hyped about that.
Yep. So we can move on to forestry. As you just listened to, more than likely there was a bunch of stuff that we had problems with, and seems like possibly it wasn't unfounded because a lot of changes.
A lot of changes. All right, so starting out with the leaf effect in teas. Long story short, we're completely removing the leaf effects alongside the ability to craft them into teas and adding them to campfires.
Yep. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. We've seen across both parts of community consultation that leaf effects and everything that comes with them receive the most amount of feedback, and rightly so. A lot of that feedback highlighted the fact that these effects target areas of the game that are going to specifically change your approach towards the content, which is kind of what we were afraid of. So that isn't to say that you don't want these kinds of changes, but they need to come from content that is relevant and concrete to the skill itself, and not from something that feels detached like an expansion to woodcutting. Aside from Herblore, which is already a massively established skill with a lot of interwoven sections for multiple skills. So, they give an example. Think about your average player that's beginning their journey and wants to train thieving. To get some of the best benefits, you get the Artie achievement diary done, earn a rogue's outfit, create some gloves of silence, and some dodgy necklaces. But with the introduction of the teas as stated in forestry, that player would now also need to take part in forestry to collect the necessary leaves for their teas, or find a player willing to part ways with their newly created brews. To you, that doesn't feel right, and that's completely fair.
Yeah,
Because
just weird.
it was really weird.
Yeah, just weird in general.
Yeah. We also saw how this added an unnecessary amount of complexity to a skill whose rules were very simple and easy to understand for all players. Chop tree, get wood.
Yep.
We saw some people wanting these to take the place of spicy stews, and whilst that appetite might be there, we want to come away from using this skill to massively affect any others, which is valid.
I mean, sure.
I liked the idea of it replacing the stews, but at the same time, it is random that's coming from woodcutting.
Even though they got rid of it, I still really like the idea that that one person came up with, where they said if you could use the brew to alter the chances of getting good spicy stew benefits,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm still down for that. Like if you had a much higher chance of getting a +5 from your spicy stew if you drank a brew to like settle your stomach before that as like a
Yeah.
theme, I think that'd
A
still be
little
cool.
Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, they could like bring that back because I mean that's not a skill thing. That's just
But you still have to go to Forestry in order to get it, which is kind of random.
yeah, you have to go down to Dave's rat house to get the others. It's like
Rat House.
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
New club. Just opening
Yeah.
soon. Dave's Rat House.
So like it's not like it would be it's not like you'd be going into his herb lore house. It's a rat house. Like
Yeah.
it's not related. So
It's not really to his skills at all, which is
exactly.
like
That's
why
why I'm like more okay with it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But yeah. Either
Leaves
way,
are gone.
it's not gonna happen. So leaves are gone. Also, something that might be gone is campfires. Speaking of campfires, the team did briefly discuss keeping campfires in as they add to the group and social experience that comes from forestry, with leaves offering specific effects for woodcutting and fire making, but that charred us into the tertiary effects territory,
Yeah.
something that we've already removed due to your feedback. However, there is one thing we will be keeping for the poll, however, and that's the bonfire effects you can use for fire making. Because we're removing the interface that was used for brewing and fires, we're also able to remove the cap of logs that could be added. So you'll be able to add all of your logs, one at a time, of course, into the bonfire with one click.
So it's still AFK fire making.
Yeah, so you can do all 28 logs
Mm-hmm.
and just AFK.
Yeah.
So we'll be removing the actual amount of experience from the question so we can have room to balance this properly, as we don't want it to feel completely useless while not encroaching on any current methods. But we are going to increase the value of experience from 1/4 to 1/3, which means it's roughly 50% less experience per hour.
That could still be like 100K an hour though.
You'll still be able to rest at the campfires and whip out a cuppa for some nice social chill time, but this is just there for a nice aesthetic now. No leaf effects.
Does that mean like BYOT, bring your own tea?
Yeah, bring your own tea. Or yeah, I guess so. Yeah. You'll also be able to check the amount of time left on the campfire with any log being added, increasing the time this will remain to a limit, of course.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm glad that they
Got rid of campfires, teas, and brews.
yeah,
and all
overall I'm
that.
glad. I still don't really I don't know why necessarily. I don't really have the best reason. I just don't like the idea of having like AFK fire making.
It just bugs you.
It's like it just seems unnecessary.
I like it. I think it just, I mean, it's nice to have an AFK option because fire making is so not AFK at all. As AFK as it gets is fletching at Wintertop, but then you just get interrupted all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like the reason I don't like AFK things in the game is because it feels like a it kind of like makes it more jobby for me because it's all like it's so
I would
if
think the opposite.
I think of it as all like it gives you no reason to not be playing.
Yeah.
You're all like, oh, why aren't you just doing something AFK? That's kind of what it makes me feel like is like, oh, why aren't you just doing this AFK method? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'd just rather be playing the game, or I think it should be more like incentivized, I guess, to play the game. Not that it's not, but like I said, I don't have the best reason why I don't
Yeah.
like it being AFK. I just don't really.
I like it. I don't even think I'll personally use it, but I think it's nice to have options because fire making, because Wintertop's not even the best fire making experience. The best is lighting it yourself, but it's like so clicky, just over and over and over again. I can't.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can't stand clicky things.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, but it's like
The attitude.
it's just like I don't know how much fun are you having just clicking a log and then clicking a fire.
No, I won't be
And
doing
then
it.
you're
I'm
like,
saying
all
for
right,
other
cool. I'm gonna go
people.
play something else for 30 seconds and
I
then go
can be
back.
happy for other people.
No, that's I don't know. That's dumb. I think that's like low brain like video game playing.
Oh
Like
my
I don't know. It's
gosh.
just That's not playing the game for me. It's lame.
As you're running your little laps.
No, I mean, obviously, I think
A lot of this game is
agility needs to
weird.
get agility needs to get reworked. I don't know, just it's a weird thing.
Lighting fires at the GE. Now this is playing the game.
I mean, at least you're doing something. The
No,
other one is you're just staring at the
really
screen.
funny.
Like, what's the gameplay loop of putting your
As
like
someone
logs
who
in a
likes
fire?
to watch TV shows while they play, I like AFK things. So because I don't have to look at my screen and I'm still getting XP.
I think it is there is like an argument for like, oh, this is a chill thing that you can do while doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I still think it's kind of like a lame gameplay loop. Like it's like, oh, this part of the game is really cool because I get to do other stuff.
I think that it's not supposed to be that cool. It's just another option.
No, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to say is you're making it too deep.
No, it's dumb.
Okay.
I
Anyway.
don't like AFK stuff. It's
Next time you AFK, I'm gonna give you.
it's
I'm
established.
gonna give you grief.
Well, I mean, half the stuff in the game I don't like, so you don't have to give me grief. It's fine.
Next up, two-handed axes.
Speaking of stuff I don't like,
Ooh, okay. Whilst we see a lot of discussion surrounding this new and experimental way of bringing a skilling item, we're going to leave it in its current form and allow you to give us your feedback from testing the axe in game. The team are willing to tweak and change both the mechanics of the axe and how the rations will work with them once the beta goes live. As for its look, we've seen a lot of players complain about how you hold these mighty axes when idle. So we're going to update the idle animations to have you equip the axe on your shoulder like the iconic weapon of the mighty Darok.
yeah,
Which makes more sense
I
than
thought
you
that's
holding
how
it
it
like...
would be. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you're just supposed to be like...
Next
cool.
we have sawmill vouchers.
Mm-hmm.
Players have asked us if these vouchers will work whilst using the plank making spell. I don't know why they would, but players have asked. Whilst we think it doesn't make sense to have them consumed with the plank making spell, the team are still discussing it. If it can be used inside your player-owned house, because obviously then you can you then just like have the guy go make it for you, your butler?
I didn't even think he made planks for you.
Oh yeah,
Does
you
he?
can make him go make planks for you.
Oh, so
Yeah,
I haven't done enough construction to be honest.
yeah.
Construction's my lowest skill.
So they do say that if these can be used inside your player-owned house, as we want these objects to be a nice alternative that you can use rather than the meta, this will be
Yeah.
determined. This will also determine the cost of the object from the forestry shop, but we'll give you the full rundown when the beta begins.
Okay.
So, yep, they don't know.
Long story short, they don't know.
They don't know.
Moving on to events. We saw some feedback surrounding the drop rates of the uniques from the events. Think of the fox transmog and the pheasant transmog. So, with you worried that these will be extremely hard to get. Whilst we can't give you the drop rates for them just yet, we want to ensure you that we know that getting a random item from a random event increases the odds of gaining one already, on top of needing the beaver in the beginning to use it. So, we're going to make sure that these items are at a suitable drop rate for everyone. As for the events themselves, we did notice that some players felt some of the activities were a little outside the zone of woodcutting, especially when it comes to the beehive event. So, not only will you receive the usual anima-infused bark, XP, and the potential for bee box parts during this event, but we're also now including some token construction experience for each beehive you help build.
Sure.
I think that just makes sense. That's fair. We know there's some concern around bloating by adding these events, and we want to ensure that we're only adding the events that resonate with you and tweaking those that aren't. The team isn't against removing an event if it doesn't fit right after the beta, but we at least want to wait for your hands-on experience before making any rash decisions, as we think this encourages more people to use all the items you contain from your forestry kit.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean, it can't hurt to just leave it until the beta.
Yeah, something I've kind of decided is I like the new events,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want them in the game. I think
Oh,
there's
no.
enough events.
Oh no.
I was thinking about it, and we already have like, what is it, 4?
In forestry? Yeah, 4.
Yeah. That seems like whenever I'm woodcutting, I felt like I was getting interrupted like a good amount.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you'd be getting interrupted more. It'd just be more of a variety when you get interrupted.
Yeah, I don't know.
It wouldn't change how often you're getting interrupted.
I agree. It's just if that is the case and you're getting interrupted just the same amount, kind of like what they said, like I feel like it'll just be like, oh, everyone likes rising roots or whatever, so you'll just only get the items for rising roots. Like, what's
Yeah.
to stop people from doing that?
Well, rising roots, you don't get items. That one's random.
Okay, well,
That actually would stop you.
well, even more so. I mean, I don't have any items, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, if you don't like any of the B ones, no one's gonna use the B ones because the B one sucks. Um, or like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's like a lot.
There is a
And
lot. I agree with that. I'm more. The reason I won't agree with you is because I'm more interested in these events than I was in the first ones.
oh, I
Yeah.
don't really care.
Yeah. I thought these ones, like the pheasant and the poachers and the little haircuts, I thought those all sounded like the cutest. So in the last one, when they just added like the more basic ones, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I agree. They kind of seem like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not like they're out of the scope of woodcutting. They just seem like kind of like I don't know, like really like a lot as far as events go.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I'm excited to see how they work in the beta. I actually do want to try them in the beta.
I don't really care which ones they end up adding. I think I would be okay with just like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like I feel like 8 is a lot.
It is a lot.
But
To be fair.
yeah. Anyways, we do have smaller changes. So one small change we've seen from a subsection of the community revolves around Arctic pine trees. We're going to hear that these players chose to limit themselves, but what we've seen specifically asked for is better access to Arctic pine trees. Currently, the only way to access them is through starting the Fremnik Isles quest to travel over to Jatizo and Neatsnot. So, whilst we don't want to move these trees from their natural habitat, we do want to offer the chance for you to obtain those logs. We would like to add Arctic pine logs to Winter Tot as a rare drop,
What
which
was
is
that glancing?
which is accessible to everyone but would mean not impacting the access to the trees themselves. Just like the Chaos Elemental drop table changes we're making from poll 80, this will be an unpolled change. Wow, okay. That's a wrap on all the feedback so far. All right.
You don't like that?
No, I feel like that's the dumbest way to add them.
I thought
Why
it.
wouldn't you just add them to the hunting area just north of Relica?
No, the whole point is that they're not in like the Relica areas.
I mean, that's pretty close.
I don't know.
And it's close
I
to a fairy ring.
I didn't think it was that weird because they drop all the other logs there.
I know, but now you're just gonna have to rely on RNG doing a mini game you've probably already done a million
Well, don't
times.
limit yourself and go
Oh
to
my
Forestry
god,
Isles.
dude. Yeah, I would definitely way rather them add it to like
Somewhere in
Jatizo,
game.
or not Jatizo, to like north of Relica, because then it's like, all right, cool. I'll just do exactly what I do for Karambwans, which is take the fairy ring, go get them, teleport back, take the fairy ring, and just do that if I need more.
Yeah. Well, I
Like
mean, I think
now
that
it's like, all right, cool. I have to go do like however many KC until
well,
like accidentally get some.
they don't want it to be the meta. They still want you to have to go to Chizo Needs Not. It's just as like an extra. Like if they did the fairy ring things, anyone you would only do the fairy ring things.
I guess. I mean, you could put them really deep into the Relica hunting area. That's a big area.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to be like right next to the fairy rings. It's just, and that's just my first initial thought. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just think adding a way of getting them being like complete RNG is like, all right, cool.
Unfortunate.
That's really cool. I'm glad you did that. Said no one. All right. But anyways, let us know what you think about them adding the Arctic pine logs and removing everything in the game.
Yeah, but that is a wrap on all of the feedback changes so far. They ended up hosting their Discord stages, so I'm sure that we'll hear about that probably next week or in the next couple weeks. But in the meantime, that is all that they had to say about Forestry Part 2
Yep.
for now.
That is it. We can move on to the actual update for this week, which is going to be Desert Treasure 2 tweaks and drop rates. So if
Yes.
you've been around, you know that there's been quite a bit of questions and potentially drama for the new drop rates and what they are or aren't.
Yes. So, first thing, there actually was some cold fixes on here too. So, there was issues, or sorry, hot fixes that are now cold, whatever that means. Look, that's what they said. I didn't say that. They said that.
Oh, I think that's like a joke. Like,
Yeah, I know it is. But the way that you looked at me, I was like, hey,
well,
don't put that on
a
me.
cold fix is totally different than a hot fix. They don't say cold fix, they say cold.
I know it was a joke, and I was reading their joke, and I feel like you gave me a very judgmental look.
Wow. Yeah, that wasn't a good joke.
It wasn't my joke. Anyway, so issues with stairs in the Lasar area have been resolved. Fix an issue that prevented pillars from being destroyed during the Whisper encounter. Fix an issue that caused the Soul Reaper axe to hit higher than intended. That wasn't the extra high one, was it?
Yeah.
Last week it was hitting for like 500.
Yeah.
A bug has been resolved that means the Leviathan is less likely to use melee to prevent players from bypassing all mechanics of the encounter. Leviathan, if enraged during the spin lightning special attack, would carry on doing it. It should stop now. And yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, jumping into the actual update, they say since last week's release, 10 of thousands of you have taken it
10
upon
of
yourself
you.
to undergo the epic adventure that is Desert Treasure 2: The Fallen Empire. Before we get into talking about what we're changing, what we're likely to change in future, and what we're still waiting for info on, we'd like to take another moment to say thank you. Okay.
You're
The
welcome.
the response to Desert Treasure 2 and everything that's come with it has been overwhelming, and we're beyond grateful for all the kind words.
I think most people actually enjoyed it.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely one of their better
some people
quests.
are like haters.
Yeah, but there's always haters. With all that said, we'd like to make a handful of changes this week to improve players' experiences with the quest itself, as well as cementing some of the hotfixes we've implemented since the quest's release. We might not see as many changes as you anticipated this week, since our focus is on the quest improvements and bug fixes first and foremost. The remaining feedback changes will be coming in the next week's games update, so you won't have too long to wait.
Cool.
So the first thing is actually kind of a big update.
It is, yeah. So, Ring of Shadows. Let's kick things off with something we know you'll appreciate. Have you ever fallen afoul of multiple axes simultaneously while fighting Vardorkis? Prepare yourself for the walk of shame to regear, and only then realize that your Ring of Shadows is stuck in your gravestone and you'll have to run from half the world away. Us neither, but it's happened to a friend of ours. That actually hasn't happened to me.
Wow.
I'm not trying to brag. Today, you'll be able to trade with the mysterious bandit in the ancient vault to purchase multiple rings of shadows for a mere 75,000 coins each. I wasn't sure if I was going to say gold or coins. I was like, coins.
Coins.
Perhaps now you're able to leave the witch's plant pots alone, you little thieves.
You little thiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Aiza did confirm, because someone was asking, these act like Xerix talismans, so they will not stack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're just individuals.
they are individuals. So
Cool.
if you buy 5, they will take 5 inventory slots in your bank. So make sure to keep that in mind.
Okay.
As far as other things go, we have stamina boosts. So this is another
Nice.
quality of life thing, mainly for anyone, and not mainly, I mean for only anyone that's doing the quest.
Mm-hmm.
So all the areas added alongside Desert Treasure 2 are pretty hefty, and you will absolutely put your cardiovascular systems through their paces. While stamina potions do exist, some players pointed out that it felt unusual to be provided with stamina restoring items in Garrock's prison and the Scar, but not in either of the remaining areas.
Yeah, you get like rations and stuff like that you eat, and it gives you stamina in the other ones.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They say anybody starting or continuing the quest this week should keep an eye out for shrines in the Stranglewood and rejuvenating pools around Lazar, which we've added to help you keep topped up while navigating these sections of the quest.
I think in Lazar, I literally brought like 11 staminas with me.
Yeah.
And I used most of them. It's weird because that's the one that you have to run the most, it feels like, and they don't give you anything.
Well,
So
now
I'm
they
happy
do.
about that, yeah.
Also, they made a nice little improvement for Garrock Prison. It says that many of you have really enjoyed the prison break out of the icy hellhole, while others have found yourself broken instead.
Yeah, I'm pretty broken after that.
Two puzzles in particular stand out as perhaps a little unclear for you, so we've updated some notes throughout the section of the quest in hopes that you correct the solutions, or hope that the correct solution feels more intuitive and for any budding escape artists.
Yeah, I struggled with those puzzles. I spent like half an hour trying to work on it, and I was getting all this stuff together, and I just couldn't connect the dots, so.
Yeah, so
Cool.
they didn't say how, but they have made the solutions for the puzzles a little bit easier, and
Mm-hmm.
also, excuse me, and also, they made it so that additionally we received reports that some of the locked gates are difficult for people with various color blindnesses to see. So they made it so if you right click on them, it'll actually say what kind of gate they are.
Yeah,
So
before it was like emerald, sapphire, diamond, stuff like that. But again, they didn't label it, it was just the colors,
yeah,
which is
so no,
obviously not
hopefully,
accessible.
yeah, hopefully that'll help seeing impaired people a lot.
Yes. It's kind of funny that I feel like they keep doing stuff like that. I mean, I don't really think about it because I'm not colorblind, to be honest. Like, it didn't occur to me, but whenever they do, I'm like, oh, it feels obvious that they should, like, you think that they have someone that's, like, specializes in accessibility on their team who, like, would go through, but
Yeah,
maybe not. Anyway, moving on to the Strangled. For those of you struggling to navigate your way through the Stranglewood, we've got a stinky addition to help you sneak past the hungry stranglers.
it's Michelle.
You're mean because I was just gonna say a robber has been added.
There we
Dang
go.
it. Why'd you do that? I was gonna read it in my little podcast voice. That's rude. A chest has been added to Cassandra's hideout in the Stranglewood. Within this chest, you'll find some stink bombs that can be taken from it. When set off, a stink bomb will attract the nearest strangle to the coordinate it was set off on, keeping them far enough away from you to make a great escape.
Cool. And also, they have some info for all you awakened boss enjoyers.
Mm-hmm.
It's been exhilarating watching all you take on the awakened forms of DT2 bosses. For those of you who missed it, here are the first 10 completions since they were released on Friday the 28th. So number 1 is going to be Sync, 2 is CX, 3 is Addy, 4th number 1, 5th is Noob Type, 6th Son Apaska, and 7th is Trifly. 8th is Port Kazard,
Strong
9.
name.
Yeah, 9 is Meerkat Phone.
Meerkat phone?
And then
That's cute.
10th is the
No
known
monkey.
No Monkey.
Yes. And their times range from the first person being 8 hours and 45 minutes to No Monkey being 17 hours and 7 minutes. So,
Oh, did you even
really
try?
quick. Oh, we had very different reactions. I haven't even tried any of the
No,
Awaken
they
yet.
definitely. I was watching Sync do it, and he's definitely got it down
Hmm.
to a science.
We have a few people in our stream who have gotten it now, and it looks so pretty, man. It
Yeah,
looks so good.
looks pretty cool.
But they actually originally put the old models in, so they fixed that.
Yeah.
I
So
noticed that people were posting screenshots and still had the blood in the middle rather than the ancient symbol.
it was the old ugly blood
I
Torva.
mean, it still looked good, but it was the old version. So they've gone ahead and fixed that this week.
Yep. And now the part that everyone is
Been waiting for.
most interested in.
Yeah.
This is going to be the Desert Treasure 2 drop rates. Let's take a step back from the enigmatic and thrilling battles of DT2. It's time to turn our attention to a burning issue that's been the talk of Gilnor, the hotly debated drop rates. We've seen the speculation. Your fervor hasn't fallen on deaf ears. In response, we're pulling back the curtain on the drop tables. It's time to dispel the rumors, clarify the odds, and equip you, our intrepid adventurers, with the knowledge you need to brave the challenges of this exciting new update. I guess it's also
Existing.
existing.
I thought it was funny that they're revealing the drop rates because they said they were going to wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, they
It's
said
only
they're
been
gonna
a
wait.
week.
But yeah, people were mad because these things are rare.
Yeah, they're very rare.
So yeah, the chance for the drop rate for each boss is different. So
Yeah, depending. I mean, because some are way faster than others, so it kind of makes sense.
yeah, so for all the bosses, it's all going to be 1 out of course. So it's for Vardorvis, 1 out of 180.
This is just sorry. This is the rates to hit the unique table,
Yeah, just to get a chance at a unique.
and then it's rolled again after.
180 for Vardorvis, 108 for Duke, 120 for Leviathan, and 77 for Whisperer.
Whisper does take a while.
And also, keep in mind, it says the awakened variants of these bosses have 3 times the chance to hit the unique table, which I don't really recall them ever talking about.
I don't remember.
If it was
I didn't. I
cold,
thought that
didn't
there
see
wasn't
it.
even drops per weekend other than the blood torva, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
So
I was telling Robert, if you get good enough at like doing the blood torva grind, I would be concerned about almost being like pay to win because you could just buy orbs and keep going back until you get the big drops.
the thing is, it's still really hard to do.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean like the people who finish in like 8 hours,
yeah, but they're not farming it necessarily.
they could.
Even if they are, they could probably still easily do like 3 Vardorvises in the time it takes
That's
to do
true.
1 awakened.
Yeah, so it would just have to make it not worthwhile.
Especially if they fail, if you have like a lot higher chance to fail, then you're really cutting into your kills per hour. So
True.
I don't necessarily care. I just wish they would have asked or
Yeah.
said.
If they said, I don't remember. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I think they put a note here because they didn't put it anywhere else.
Presumably, yeah.
Either way though.
Yeah, but the weightings. So Virtus, in general, any Virtus item is 1 out of 8, and a separate 1 out of 3 roll then determines which piece is awarded. And this is a 1 out of 8 roll after you roll onto the unique table.
Yep.
The vestige roll is 3 out of 8. So rolling this will increment a variable by 1. The third time this is hit, drop the vestige and reset the variable. So remember, you have the 2 invisible drops and then you get the item.
Yeah, and people were asking, no, this update will not reset your current vestige. So you will, if you're a 2 out of 3, you will
Can you
still be
imagine?
2 out of 3.
That'd be rough. The chromium ingot will be 3 out of 8, and an axe piece is 1 out of 8 when you roll a unique table.
Yeah. And so those are all the tradable uniques. The untradeable uniques, these drops are more common with your KC until you get the first of them. So once you get them, then the drop rate does increase. They don't say what it increases to, but initially it does say that the teleport tablets are 1 out of 25 and the elemental quartz are 1 out of 200.
I wonder, because yeah, they say like they get more common with your KC until the first one. I'm like, how common do they get? I wonder.
Yeah, they don't say.
I'm so curious because we all assumed it was 1 out of 10 because I got 3 out of 4 of mine and 7 or less KC. And
Yeah.
then one took 35,
Either
so
either way, the tablets,
it's weird.
luckily, they are very common.
Yeah, but 25 KC when you're learning, that would be rough. I mean, the
Yeah.
35 Leviathan, I didn't get to do anything else that night, I think. I was
Yeah.
only doing Leviathan.
And then we also have the Awakener's Orb drop rates. Again, all different for each boss, being 1 out of 80 for Vardorvis, 48 for Duke, 53 for Leviathan, and 34 for Whisperer.
I've gotten 3 Awakener orbs in the 35 KC.
Nice, pretty
That's
lucky.
crazy.
They also have the drop rates for clues, equal chance to roll on all the clues up to Elite. And the rate is 1 out of 40 for a specific clue mentioned above.
So each one's 1 out of 40.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it says for a specific clue. So, I mean, it's a higher chance if you just want any clue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Pet rates. So Vardorvis is going to be 1 out of 3,000. Duke is going to be 1 out of 2,500, as well as Leviathan 1 out of 2,500, and Whisper will be the most common at 1 out of 2,000.
Is Whisper the hardest one? It seems
Whisper's
like it
the
from these
longest
drop
one.
rates. Oh, the longest. Oh, okay.
And then Duke is also like kind of long as well. Vardorvis is really quick.
Yeah.
Leviathan, I kind of feel like, oh, maybe it's just because I'm slow at it. No, I don't know. But I feel like Whisper makes sense to be low. And I like that Duke is lower because he's such a goofy looking pet and I really want him.
Yeah.
He's so goofy.
For anyone wondering, they do give a entire rollout of like what the drop table is gonna look like.
Yeah, the order of it.
The order of it. So it'll initially roll for a tradable unique, and then if that isn't successful, it'll roll for an Awakener's Orb. Again, if not successful, it'll roll for an untradable, and if you fail again, then it'll roll for a 1 out of 5 for a supply drop, and then finally, if you don't get the supply drop, it'll roll for a resource drop.
And that would be like the bronze chain bodies.
Yeah, and all of these don't include additional rolls for clues and pets. Those are separate. But that's essentially how it rolls. So you cannot, it doesn't seem like you can get a tradable and an Awakener, or an Awakener and an untradable. It's just only one drop, it seems.
Yeah, from the uniques. But it seems like pets can go along with any drop though, which is nice.
No, not even just for uniques, just for anything.
Oh,
so you can only
right.
either get a supply drop, you can only get a tradable.
Oh yeah, no, it does seem like that.
So I guess this is kind of good to know, because that means that if you get a supply drop, you didn't get a like a invisible ring part.
But do you get nothing when you get the invisible ring?
No,
because I don't think it drops nothing.
Yeah, maybe.
This is interesting. They don't clarify. I don't
Yeah,
think.
they don't clarify if you get like how many drops you get, because I'm sure there's been people that have gotten nothing, but I don't know if that means necessarily.
Maybe it like checks it off virtually, like, oh, you got 1, but we're just gonna give you a resource drop this time.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. Because
Yeah.
I don't remember it dropping nothing on anything.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say that if you do get something, you don't get anything else. It's saying that if you don't get something, then it rolls for something else.
Mhm.
So maybe you can get multiple of something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
It's confusing me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But pets and clues are separate, so you can get those with anything.
Yeah, that's cool. Either way, they do have a little excerpt talking about the Virtus robes themselves.
Yes.
They say, let's take a moment to dive into the drop rates for the Virtus set that's been catching everyone's eye because it's very rare.
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot
Feels so rare, actually.
Yeah, right. A very, very uncommon drop. Finding that sweet spot between Aram's and Ancestral's price has been key, so the rarity of Virtus has to be dialed in just right. We made the decision to include Virtus as drops for all 4 separate bosses, encouraging you to grind all of them for their unique drops. You still have the option to focus on one boss if that's your thing, but we want to make sure that we're still going for each of the respective rings. You'd eventually get the Virtus passively along the way.
That seems fair.
We did
the rings are also
mega
rare.
Yeah, they are. And they didn't the drop chance increase we were about to talk about does not pertain to the ring, so keep that in mind.
This is just for the robes, no? Oh, we'll get to it.
Yeah,
Don't even answer me yet.
They said that we did toy with the idea of having just one boss drop the whole Virtus set at a more common rate, which could have made target farming much easier. Implementing it this way also would prevent a potential crash in the set's value, as it wouldn't be coming into the game as quickly. Ultimately, it all boils down to a delicate balance of rarity, demand, and the effort required to obtain them. We feel like the current implementation is the best option for the long term, but understand why some of you may feel frustrated.
I actually like that it drops from all 4.
I
because
do.
I wouldn't have liked it if you had to specifically grind one boss.
Yeah, you're like,
for the robes.
You're like, oh, I hate Duke. He's the only one that drops Virtus, though.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like the rings make sense, but like the robes wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah. As for general drop rates, we feel much more comfortable erring on the side of caution, which is kind of what they've been doing recently.
Hmm.
They say they'd rather avoid a situation where too many uniques are entering the game versus not enough.
There was not too many.
Yeah. With all this in mind, now that you have more information, or we have more information, we're changing the core unique rates for Virtus, ingots, vestige, and axe pieces. So, like I said, not the wait, is the vestige the ring part?
I think the vestige is the ring.
I thought they were saying not the ring.
Look it up.
All right, so I had to pause to look it up because I didn't want to be wrong about the drop rates, because I think initially the notes read it as an increase to all tradable
Hmm.
drop rates. So a lot of people were wondering if that meant the vestige and the axe, because those aren't tradable whenever you get the parts of them,
It's
obviously,
only as
but
a whole.
only as a whole they are.
Hmm.
So they did correct this, and it's correct now as it's written. So
Okay.
this will have an increase to the core unique rates of the Virtus, ingots, vestige, and axe pieces by approximately 20 to 30% more common, depending on the boss,
Yes.
with Vardorvis and Leviathan getting the biggest improvements. So now the drop rates are 136 for Vardorvis, 90 for Duke, 96 for Leviathan, and 64 for Whisperer. So quite a big increase. And again, they do remind you 3 times higher chance to hit the unique table on awakened
Yes.
variants.
Kind of crazy. Whispers like half as much as Bardorvis because it takes so much longer.
Yeah. And they finally mentioned, keep in mind that we might fine tune the drop rates even further. Our goal is to
Hmm.
ensure the long term value of items be balanced. So, if you do have any feedback, I guess always give it to them if you
Yeah.
think it's still too high or too low or whatever.
Yeah, there are some other different changes, not related though. So, as raiding dungeons can now contain banks, players protected by the Deadman mode PvP protection are no longer permitted to enter them. You can speak to the Doomsayer to cancel your protection early. Various spelling mistakes were made to the DT2 dialogue. Improved pathing to salt deposits in Duke. I'm not even going to pronounce his name. The Duke's
Do
room.
suck.
So you should not be able to click from the upper floor to deposit with ease. Vents within the Duke's room will now correctly despawn when the encounter ends. Resolved an issue that could prevent the Duke encounter from starting. The female Sanguine Torva, is that just like the Blood Torva? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Blood Torva has the correct assets. Both male and female Blood Torva has correct inventory models and chat heads. Torva has been replaced with reworked version, like I mentioned earlier. Players are no longer able to feed Abyssal Leeches items with a destroy option. So if you guys didn't know, in the scarred area, like outside of Leviathan, there's these little leeches, and it's literally an item sink. You could just feed them anything, and they'll just be named that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I walked by one, and one was called a Chompy Chick Leech, which meant that someone fed their baby to a leech. And apparently people have like done T-bows and stuff too. You don't get it back.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just like if you're rich, why not, I guess. The leeches in the person white fight will now always target the player. Ketla and her clones were not doing the right amount of damage. This has been changed so that they're closer to what we had intended.
This is not making it easier, by the way.
Making it harder.
Aiza did clarify, saying that it's not easier, it's not harder. They just,
It's just different.
the damages for the different enemies were weird, so now it is kind of the same difficulty. It's not harder.
More consistent.
Yeah,
Okay.
he confirmed it's not supposed to be harder. It's just a slightly different.
Okay. The image of the eye will no longer be lost on death. Damage should no longer carry over to Cassandra once the fight has ended. Various minor balancing changes that have been made to the quest versions of DT2 bosses. The difficulty of these bosses should remain very close to how they were last week. Their respective combat levels have also been increased to better reflect their difficulty. So they're not getting more difficult, but they changed it to look more accurate. Some temple walls within the Stranglewood can no longer be walked through. Awakener's orbs have been added to the collection log. As the orbs are tradable, any gained before this update will not appear, which sucks as someone who has gotten 3. That's
Nice.
not going to be my collection log. Boss Slayer tasks for the 4 new bosses could be given before completing the quest, so this is now fixed. Slayer tasks no longer apply to the Awakened version of the DT2 bosses. Vardorvis has some clickbox improvements. It is no longer possible to safe spot the mysterious stranger. Wearing the Ring of Shadows will correctly show the hidden ghosts inside the sepulcher. Some scenic braziers within the throne room of Lazar Undercity have been removed. Progress while in the Scar Maze will now save, so if you need to leave and return, you don't have to redo everything you've already finished, which I imagine is very frustrating.
Yeah.
And finally, boss information has now been added to the combat achievements interface alongside monster examine being enabled.
Nice. So
Mhm.
you can actually see what the bosses are weak to, but I
Yeah.
think most people have a generally good idea of
Well, yeah, but
how
now
to fight
guides
them.
are going to be like even more accurate,
Yeah,
which is nice.
pretty cool. Because
Yeah.
for anyone that didn't know, Purple Clone,
Mhm.
did let us know that apparently for Leviathan, for example, like isn't the T-bow's not super good there, except in Awaken mode. Uh, the boss's mage defense is so high that the T-bow's actually good there.
Did he say that? I don't even remember.
Yeah, that's whenever he was teaching you, that's what he said.
Shout out Purple Clone. He streams and he's gotten the Blood Torva. Go watch his stream.
Yeah. So small example like that. So you can actually see if the T-bow is going to be best in slot
Yeah.
there.
Or if it's just weird flukes for clones specifically.
Yeah, I guess so. But that is about it for the update.
Hmm.
Pretty good update
Really good update, actually, I
overall.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely nice. Some quality of life stuff. Small tweaks, nice changes. More loot. So I think in general, people will probably happy about this.
Definitely. I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah. So that is it. I liked it, but we can move on to the questions.
Yes. So we have a couple in real life and a couple RuneScape. We're going to start first with RuneScape, per usual. But our first one is from Harger on Discord. So I think there's a decent minority of players who actually really enjoy doing quests without guides. But like Michelle, eventually give up and go to the guide because it's too hard without it. I do the same. Do you guys think quests should be less difficult, or at least in terms of figuring out what direction to go? The bosses are fine. It's more about the story that's hard to follow, in my opinion. We also had a response from Lux on that as well. Lux said, in terms of playability of quests, if you read the dialogue, they're easy to understand. Modern quests being developed are super straightforward compared to old quests. Looking at you, Legends Quest. But I actually disagree with Lux. I didn't think that all of it was straightforward at all. Because
Yeah.
I'm good at some puzzles. I was not good at some of these puzzles though. Like some of them I was really struggling. But I think that they like maybe just barely should be better. But I don't think it's the worst thing that if you're not great at puzzles like me to have to look up guides.
Yeah.
Like I probably would have gotten them eventually, but I mean, I didn't try for more than like half an hour, an hour for them.
Yeah.
I would like a little bit more direction maybe, but I don't know how they could do that. I don't want it to be like changed so that they were giving hints that were unnecessary just because it's not my type of puzzle,
Yeah.
I guess. What do you think?
I know what you mean. As someone that doesn't like quests, I've never liked quests. People gasp at me whenever I tell them I haven't watched a single cutscene in Diablo 4. There's many
I heard
hours.
that I watched a 10-minute long video of a cutscene.
Yeah,
from Diablo.
that's one cutscene.
I watched it and I was like, "Whoa, this looks really good. This should be a show."
Yeah.
Dude, I watched it. I've never even played that game.
Yeah, there's hours of cutscenes I've skipped in many a game. I don't watch them because the same reason I don't like quests, they take too long.
Yeah, he just wants to play the game.
The thing is though, there are quests that I like doing, or there are games I like questing in, and those are games like this is gonna sound really weird, but the Star Wars MMO. It's
Okay.
called I think it's just called The Old Republic.
Okay.
That had really good questing, as well as Elder Scrolls. Both had really good questing, and one main thing for me that made them more interesting is they're voice acted.
Oh, do you think if voice acting was a thing in here, it'd make it better?
Yeah, because a lot of the quests have a lot of dialogue and it's all reading. Like I'm not
Even
like
I was paying attention to the lore, and there were some parts that I would just skip because I'm like, okay, this is like too much for me right now.
yeah, I am not the fastest reader.
Mm.
I've had not really comprehension problems with reading, but like
I'm staying focused,
yeah,
right?
staying focused on
Yeah.
reading is like really tough for me. So like if it takes a long time, if there's a lot of dialogue, it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
If it's gonna take me 50 minutes to do this medium quest, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do
No,
that.
that's fair.
So yeah, like the audio stuff helps a lot if they're all like if he's just like, oh, go to the camp and kill this dude instead of like, oh, this dude was saying this stuff and then so you gotta go like check and see if he's over here in this area. It's like, all right, I don't need
You
to
want a
read all
voiceover
that.
telling you what to do.
I just want them to be like, oh, like this happened.
You're
I
funny.
need you to go check this out. Then it's like that's a lot easier for me.
It's funny because I'm the opposite. I'm a very fast reader, and I
Yeah.
feel like I would get annoyed with voiceovers, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, just let me read it."
That's funny you say that. One of the best add-ons I've ever seen in my life for any game
hmm
um, is for World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And it's only recently been done because of things like Chat GPT, but they use a thing, it's like voice GPT or something like that. But essentially, what it does is it takes the very small clips they have for like dwarves and night elves and humans in World of Warcraft. And then if you get a quest from someone that's a dwarf and he's like, oh, go kill this monster. But the thing is, every quest in WoW has really long text. Usually it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs.
Yikes.
And so no one reads it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this does a voice GPT and it takes the voice of like a dwarf and it'll read the whole quest for you after
Oh,
you
that's kind of
leave.
cool. Yeah.
So while you're going to the quest, you can hear about like what you're gonna do.
Oh, nice.
It's really, really like cool. It's obviously still kind of messed up because it's just
Well,
AI,
yeah.
and sometimes the voices sound weird. But
But still something.
yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
Going from like
I've never
zero
heard of
to
something like
like
that.
to that is like it was such a like mind blowing for me. I was just blown away by it as
Yeah.
far as plugins go and
You
stuff
want
like
that
that.
in RuneScape?
If they had that in RuneScape,
It
I
could just be a
would.
plugin. I would say that shouldn't be something on for all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be an expert in the quest if that existed because I'd love being like, all right, this quest I know I got to go to, somewhere in Karamja. I'm gonna start going there and then hear them like do like some voice acted version of like a tribes member in Karamja like describing what I got to go do. I would totally listen to
It's way
that.
more immersion too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Our next question is from Matt over on Instagram. I was like, I thought I might have said Matt from Discord earlier. No, I didn't. So, do you think Jagex being a British company and having British culture has an influence on the game? For example, are British humor, politics, culture, food, etc. seen anywhere in the game? And what changes might you expect if it was a US company? And the answer from Matt on this, if it was a US company, I'd expect a few things: more advertisement, in-game purchases, Spanish language servers, a higher budget, and physical merch similar to Amiibo that you can scan a code on its base with the mobile OSRS app to unlock things in the game. For example, you could buy a Zamrock Godsword with real money at Walmart, then you get home and scan the code on mobile and it appears in your in-game bank. You then would have both a collectible real life and game item. It's actually kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
Not for RuneScape, but like for other stuff. I love the more advertisement in-game purchases because yes, probably. I think that we are a greedy country.
Yeah.
A good one that I do agree with though is I think that there would be Spanish language servers, and that's something that's like really weirdly missing right now.
Yeah.
That there's not any.
Yeah, I agree, especially with how many South Americans play the game, very obviously.
Yeah. It's
So,
like why is it? It's weird that that's not a
like
thing.
some of the most populated servers in WoW are South American servers.
Yeah.
They're very well known. I can name almost all of them.
There's tons of players that just speak Spanish. I remember people used to join our clan try to speak Spanish, and I would like use Translate and just talk to them, but like
Yeah.
in my broken Google Translate Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, to answer the first question, do you think that having British culture has an influence on the game?
Yes.
100%. There actually is tons of things I've noticed that's like English humor or references in it. Naturally, I can't think of a single example right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a lot of it.
I was gonna roast them alive because the only thing that I can think of that
What, the
really
Duke?
reminds me of English is the food in the game. It is so trash.
A lot of like fish pies.
Yeah, they're like, oh, here's these. Yeah, like just sticking a whole fish in a pie. That seems ridiculous, but I could easily see an English person doing
Yeah, we
that.
haven't been to England, so if we're super off,
Okay.
honestly, I don't know if we are.
All of the potato recipes,
Very English.
that is extremely
yeah,
English.
A lot of potatoes.
I feel like a regular English dinner is just boiled things, including potatoes, on a plate.
Yeah, they went through a war, Robert,
Yeah, and they still
like
eat like it.
like 60 years ago,
Yeah.
so
They're like, what's for dinner? Oh, just flavorless spuds again.
stop. You're my little flavorless spud.
Yeah, just some whatever. I don't even know what you guys make. Just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's like actually tons of references
Yeah.
to it.
There definitely
I
is.
hate that I can't think of any examples right now, but I've noticed stuff like references to TV shows and things too that are English, and I'm like, oh, how funny.
Yeah,
Just
I
the way
mean,
they spell armor is
yeah,
a
a
reference.
lot of the chat
hmm
with like or dialogue with NPCs.
They use everywhere randomly in words,
Yeah.
like armor.
Yeah, armor and color, all of the U's.
All the U's.
Yeah,
And then they added the Duke, which a lot of people are saying is just a random dude from Manchester. So
probably.
there's that as well.
Yeah, probably. Also, they don't have any American football in the game, so there's that.
True. They have Gnome Ball. I guess that's
As
kind of the
far as
same. Well, actually, we had one more RuneScape question, actually.
no, I'm
Sorry.
not done answering the question.
Oh. I thought you were moving on.
No, you didn't even finish answering the
Oh, I
question.
didn't. I didn't.
You're
Okay,
like, well, for the
sorry.
first part of the question, I'm not going to answer the second part.
Sorry.
It said, "What changes would you expect if Jagex was a U.S. company?" And I think you're kind of off.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think there would be any advertisements. No U.S. game does that I know of.
No, that's more like Japanese gacha games, huh?
Yeah, that's all Japanese gacha games.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, that's not really advertisement. It's just in-game purchases. I don't really know of any game that does advertisement that's like a real game.
Yeah, actually, same.
Yeah. Besides that, definitely in-game purchases. 100%.
Naturally.
Spanish language servers. Yeah,
Yeah, that
probably.
one would actually be really nice.
A higher budget. I mean, arguably, they definitely have a higher
Maybe.
budget, but it's still like they still have stock, so they still have stockholders that they have to
I feel like
appease.
the company would be worth a lot more. The CEO would be making more, and it would still be the same content.
Yeah, the thing is, a lot of this is up for grabs because I'm basing a lot of this on WoW,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and they were just purchased by Microsoft.
Interesting.
Yeah, one of the biggest purchases in a long
I remember
time.
people talking about that when it
Yeah,
happened.
many, many billions. It actually was
Jeez.
just it was actually being blocked by the EU, I think it
Oh,
was. And they're all like, yeah, this is a monopoly, blah blah blah. But now I'm pretty sure they bought him.
weird.
Yeah. But
The physical merch I can see being a thing. That reminds me of just like Disney. That seems like some Disney thing.
yeah, I've never seen this um ever.
I feel like if Disney owned RuneScape, they would somehow find a way to do that.
Oh, if Disney, maybe I
Yeah.
could see that. The only thing that I know of that is even remotely similar to this, as an example, is again World of
I was gonna
Warcraft.
say Webkins.
No, WoW, some of the most expensive things in WoW are because you could only get them off of like the back or off the front of World of Warcraft trading cards when
Oh.
they were a thing.
Oh. No, that's like exactly the same as this then.
Yeah, but the thing is
But
like,
less cool.
yeah,
You don't
exactly.
even get a god sword.
It
You just get a
wasn't
card.
it was like mounts and pets. So it
Oh.
wasn't even like useful things per se.
Yeah.
Like the most expensive mount in the game, which is several thousands of dollars now because it just keeps getting more rare as the time goes
Mm-hmm.
on, is the spectral tiger. It's like a
Ooh, sounds pretty.
yeah, just a tiger that's like a little
A ghosty.
ephemeral ghosty dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever it first came out, like a few $1,000s. Now it's many thousands of dollars.
Dang.
There's not many in the game.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's the only thing that I know of any game I've ever seen that has that.
Weirdly, the Webkins, the game I mentioned, I played this when I was like 12. You bought stuffed animals, and then you had to buy the stuffed animals, use their code, and then those animals get added to your account. And if you didn't buy another Webkins within a year, your account would be lost.
Wow.
It was brutal. I lost my account. I had tons of them too. I got a bunch for one birthday, and then I didn't get any more for a year. And I'm like, dang
Dang.
it. It was actually pretty brutal for kids.
Yeah. There is another game that I know of like this, Maple Story. I can see
Oh,
Korean games doing this
yeah.
because Maple Story is Korean. They have a few things you can get in the game if you are Korean and were at the Korean events, but that's about it. That's all I know.
I kind of feel like if it was an American company, they'd open up a theme park,
I
which
wish.
I wouldn't be opposed to. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I wish.
But anyway, our final RuneScape question. What do you think about promoting more player design content? This is from Wraith. Wraith said, one of the things that JMod has said lately, and to be fair, Wraith wrote this back in April, that raised an eyebrow was that Rage 3 was very expensive content to make. That's not the least bit surprising, but implies that the team has to think more carefully about what projects to take on since investors are looking at development hours and planning on how to maximize their returns. I think players often design content that's just better and more efficient than whatever JMod envisioned. For example, the Scythe, Runelight HD.
Yeah.
It's true that outsourcing design to player loosens the grip Jagex has on its own IP, but I think it's a viable way to get better ideas into the game much more quickly. I like promoting the player design content, but I think that the players that design the content should be compensated for it.
Yeah.
I don't like whenever they're like, "Oh, everyone send us your ideas and we'll put some stuff in it and you get 5 bonds." It's like you should pay them.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
basically just are an artist for you at this point.
Yeah, the only reason I am also against this is for a similar reason. I think like the RuneLite team does way more. The RuneLite team and also people that make plugins do
Mhm.
way more than what they're compensated for, which is usually just some like
It's just donations, right?
donations or
Yeah,
Patreon stuff like that. Like that's crowdfunded. Like they should be getting paid
I
by
agree.
Jagex.
There's no way that they'll ever do that, but I
Yeah,
agree.
not even like a full salary. Just they should be getting paid.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, we have this many users that we update this thing for. It's like, all right, cool. We'll pay you in proportionate compensation. But
I agree.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like weird that like, especially like all the things whenever they make like new pieces of gear that the or like the new login screen, like they don't pay anyone for
I
that.
feel so bad for yeah. They at most will be like $100, and then
Yeah,
they'll like give them bonds, and I'm like, thousands and thousands of people are looking at this screen. Like you should pay them more appropriately.
yeah.
I think that I think that they should still use people's work, but I think that the artists that win are usually being like undervalued.
Yeah, I feel like they should even at least this is what Dota does. I don't play
Mm-hmm.
Dota, but it's the most lucrative game in the world to play
Wow.
because for instance, they have like hundreds of millions of more dollars given to like players per year than anyone else.
Yeah.
They're not the biggest game. This is
Nice.
because they're able to like crowdsource a lot of the money.
Yeah.
So I think if Jagex could do that, it doesn't cost them any money. They could just be like, "Oh, we're having this competition, and everyone that buys this thing, like everyone that pays for membership, like a quarter of it, or
Yeah, it could
even
be
one
from money
penny
that
of
they're
it,
making
yeah."
from something
Or
else.
they're like, "This much money from the keychains go towards this," which is
Yeah.
like a lot of these are things that Dota does. They're like, "Oh, anyone that buys the new pet in the game, portions of it go to the this next tournament."
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Because
I
then
think
you're at least able to compensate
yeah,
people.
because I agree with Wraith that I think that player design stuff is usually like really dope
Yeah.
and like works really well, looks
I,
good, and then like it's a very passionate player base. So I think that people really put a lot of thought into how stuff would work.
yeah,
Maybe too passionate at times. But yeah, I like it. I think that there should be more of it, but I think that they should be given more than just measly bonds.
I agree.
Yeah.
And even like that's why that's also this goes back to how greedy they are and why things like Dead Man aren't super interesting. Because I mean, whether you like it or not, prize pools are interesting.
Yeah.
Like people
And they
watch
have the money for prize pools clearly because they give a ton of
exactly.
notes away.
The biggest tournament for Dota, for example, is like their main tournament. It's like millions and millions of dollars, and it's all crowdfunded.
Wow.
Or
Just
almost
from
all
other
of it.
stuff.
Yeah, almost all of it's crowdfunded. Like the first couple million I think comes from Steam because they own the game.
Wow.
But yeah, the rest, like the tens of millions they get for the rest of it is crowdfunded via
That's kind
like
of
the
crazy.
pet thing or, you know, whatever sales they get.
Yeah.
So I think if they could do something like that and they're like, yo, the first 5 people get 5 grand. Yo, how many people would be like crazy hyped about doing Dead Man
Oh yeah.
or like anything like that?
Any competition like that, totally.
Yeah. So
People love money.
I think they need to work out a way to pay people appropriately,
Yeah.
including their own devs they have on payroll, as well as
True.
other people that make content for the game.
CEO needs to take a pay cut. That just goes for every company basically.
Yeah, probably.
But we also have some real life questions. First from Matt on Instagram again. So, what is your favorite plant-based yogurt? Remember Harger asked about plant-based milks. So, I'm not vegan, but honestly enjoy most plant-based products more than dairy ones. I like plant-based milk, yogurt. I don't eat butter, ice cream, etc. The only reason I'm not vegan is I eat cheese, honey, and sushi. And I would say my favorite plant-based yogurt is soy, followed by oat. Almond is also quite good.
Yeah.
I don't like yogurt.
You don't eat yogurt.
I don't like yogurt. My weird reason for that is I used to babysit my nieces every single week when they were like toddlers, and watching kids eat yogurt and spit it out and stuff disgusted me so much that I don't like yogurt now.
Nice.
I could sometimes eat it, but I have to be like watching something so I don't think about just how gross it is to see it just all over a kid's face. It's what. Anyway, You like yogurt.
I'm a yogurt enjoyer.
He is a yogurt enjoyer.
Indeed. Yeah, so before I was vegan, Chobani was by far my favorite yogurt. It was really good,
That was your thing.
especially with the fruit in the bottom. It's like,
Oh, you mix it up.
yeah, it was crazy good.
Yeah.
Um,
He's had a hard time finding good vegan yogurts.
there's only been one. I don't know what brand it was because I forgot. It was like one of the first ones I
You
tried.
got it at Target, right?
I've never been able to find it since. Don't ask me where I got it. I don't know. This was years ago. But my favorite type of yogurt is Greek yogurt. So I found a coconut Greek yogurt and it was really close.
The best
Really,
one.
really close.
I like that you like Greek yogurt because I feel like that's the most basic yogurt that most people would have to add stuff to it.
Well, that's why all the Greek yogurts, well, not all, obviously, but Greek yogurts often come with things like sweet fruit, so it's
Yeah.
good. So that's, I think I had one with, peaches or strawberry, whatever it was. But it was really good. It was really close. So I'd have to say coconut.
Coconut.
Yep.
Fair. Our final question is also an in real life one from Hara Girl on Discord again. Do you like to drive? I don't have a car, but I have a license, and I honestly don't enjoy driving. Some people say they do, but I'm always really nervous and I have to focus so much. When I'm on the metro, in the bus, or on the train, I can do anything I want. Read a book, listen to music, walk around. If I'm on the bike, I listen to music, enjoy the fresh air without being worried about other bad drivers or a life-ending collision. Although one time I did break my knee because a car ran into me. It's a fun way of saying got hit by a car. A car ran into me.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like having to constantly worry about your car being broken into, stolen, damaged, maybe having to find a place to park would be annoying if you live in an area where that could happen. As someone without a designated parking spot, you have to deal with trying to find parking every day. That probably sucks.
Sure.
I don't like driving.
Yeah, simple as that.
It sketches me out. I will drive. Sometimes it's okay, but I get really sleepy when I'm driving. It's an issue. I get like highway hypnosis is what it's called, where you're staring straight ahead for so long that you just start zoning out. And I have fallen asleep when driving once and got pulled over like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And because of that, like I'm just extra scared of driving whenever I start to get tired. So if it's more than like half an hour, I don't like to. And when it's half an hour, sometimes I get stressed. I'm like, what if I get into a crash? Because we're just driving around these big old machines. Like it's so easy to just die. Sketchy.
Yeah, it is.
But also, for the less dramatic reasons, it sucks because you can't do anything. You know, you're driving. You have to focus on driving. It'd be nice to be able to just like look at my phone or read or something instead.
Yeah.
I look forward to someday being able to have good public transport so I can just like not have to pay attention.
Yeah, we have good transport here, but not as good as in Europe.
Yes.
Besides that though, it's tough because I don't necessarily like driving.
Robert does most of our driving.
Yeah.
Because he knows I get stressed.
I don't mind driving. I would say I'm probably better than your average driver. I've driven like
a lot.
8 to 12 hours in like one go. And
I've driven like 5 hours in one go, and I only kind of fell asleep on the freeway once.
Nice. Yeah, beyond that, I haven't gone, but I would love to go fast.
Oh God.
I would love it. One of my like dreams before I decided, actually one of my dreams still, thank goodness they have an electric car, is I just want to get a Porsche and I just want to just blast like down the Autobahn. That would be so great. So great. I like going fast. I've always wanted to get a motorcycle. I think that'd be really cool.
I really don't want him to.
Like when it comes to like roller coasters, I don't like going up and down. I like going fast.
True. I feel that on roller coasters.
So yeah, I don't dislike driving. It's just a thing I do and would like to do the fast part of it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to race or anything like that.
Well, would you ever pay to have one of the experiences to go in a race car and just go fast in that?
Yeah, I've looked at it.
I think Unholy's gonna be doing that for his 21st birthday.
You can drive a depending on what kind you want. I would probably want like the GT3 RS, which is like the most expensive, fastest, nicest version of the Porsche.
Yeah.
You can take that on a track for I think it's a few grand. You can take it around. Yeah, it's expensive.
But I mean, it's like a once in a lifetime experience.
The car is $300,000 to $500,000. So I mean, you'll never drive that car unless you're
That's true.
Giga rich.
It's a very unique experience.
If you were to spend a couple grand for an hour to drive around in this car, you'll never be in it again in your life.
That's kind of cool.
It'd be pretty cool. I've thought about doing that, but yeah, I probably won't, but I have thought about that. That'd
That'd
be
be a
cool.
cool thing to do someday in your life.
Yeah, and I've like watched a lot of videos of like motorcyclists like just going crazy through like the Andes Mountains or something. Just they'll go from like 60 to like 180 in like no time, and it's just
You're so
crazy.
nuts for
Just
that
like
because
strapped to this giant engine.
oh, I see it and I just immediately imagine how gnarly it would be if they crashed.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd be dead, so who cares?
I'd care in the split second before I died. I also have a fear of dying, so that's
That's
cool.
a big tip for getting over death is you won't mind because you'll be dead.
You know what? My therapist literally told me that. Another thing with driving, whenever I was still going to therapy, I used to get so nervous while driving. I would cry sometimes when I was driving because if it was like for 40 minutes to go visit my nieces, I would sometimes start crying in the car because I'd imagine, what if I just crashed and died? And then I'd get sad and I'd cry. And I
Nice.
told my therapist, and like also like my fear of Robert driving and like him getting into a crash and dying. And she was like, yeah, well, basically, she said, like, the cool thing about that is you really can't do anything to prevent that. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So, and I was like, oh, and that kind of changed things. Now I just don't really think about it because I'm like, if one of us is going to crash and die, we're going to crash and die. Me crying about it in the car is not going to change that.
Yeah. So anyway, driving's not too bad.
For you.
Yeah, and also I like to listen to things while I drive, so there's that too.
True. I do as well. But yeah, that is it for our questions this week.
That is it. So thanks again for asking your questions. Feel free to ask us anywhere on any of our social medias.
Yeah, you could hit us up on discord.gg/Bunebape. Our TikTok and Twitter are both Bunebapeosrs, and our Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch are all just Bunebape. I stream 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape, so come read with me or hang out with me and ask us questions anywhere. Just let me know it's for the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
So thanks again. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all
Very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.